Just getting everything set up right before we get started. Just need to get a proper thumbnail in here so it doesn't look so garbage. And then we should be good. And there is that. And then we'll just get this saved here as well. And saved. Perfect. We should be ready to go through and get started here. As soon as YouTube wants to save it, we might be good. It is hard to say. It's taking its sweet time today. Come on, perfect. And that should be everything we need to do. Awesome. So we'll go through and get started with some pretty basic tips and then evolve into some more advanced ones as well. Let's just open this up and we'll head on over. Back to the base here to grab everything we need to get started. Thanks for hopping in and joining. So to go through and get started, we'll just start with the very basics. We've got our pistol. Let's go into creative though, that way we can just fly over. And then, so we're going to be using creative just to go through and spawn items in to demonstrate things. Otherwise, it would take far longer to navigate the map. But when we're actually doing the testing and demonstrating, we will exit creative mode. So with that being said, the first thing is the spyglass. So the spyglass typically is primarily just used for scouting creatures and their levels. But there is actually another purpose. It does typically help more in PvP than it does in PvE. But if you are looking at a creature or a person from a distance, usually trying to hit them from a distance with a weapon, for example, is quite challenging. So if I try and hit this Parasaur, for example, I did hit it, but it is not easy to hit something that far away. But if you switch to your spyglass, you can see the bison. All we need to do is look for it, and then immediately switch to our weapon, and we'll immediately get hit markers on it. Let me just reload real fast. So we're just going to zoom in, and then we can just switch to the weapon here, and it will immediately register, and this works extremely far away. Typically, it's far more helpful in PvP for the simple fact that people have really small bodies, but in general, it is very handy for taking out like larger creatures like wyverns, for example. Anything that has a headshot multiplier and you don't have a scope on your pistol, this works wonders. So for example, too, if we were to go through and try and take out this this PT over here, if we'll just get, oh, there is a bison here, and he's big mad. Might have to kill this guy real quick. Yeah, let's just kill this guy here real quick. I think we're not in creative, so let's just take him out, and then I'll demonstrate on that PT to where you can actually see. Whoops. Hold on, fella. We're not ready for you yet. We will use you for some tests later. Bisons are extremely aggressive. So, and as I was saying, if we take a look here at this PT all the way across the map, let's see if we can get a better look. You need to be able to actually see their name in order for this trick to work. We'll use this Anki. So you can barely see the Anki. So if you can go through and let's make sure our weapon's reloaded. Now if you go through and use the spyglass on the Anki, and then we're going to immediately switch to our weapon. And then you can see we can actually get the hit markers this far away, because the spyglass allows you to essentially aim up your reticle prior to firing. So highly recommend it for long distance. It is very helpful also in the tech cave as well. Now, with that being said, let's move on over to the next one, and the next one's going to be the whip. The whip is an extremely underutilized tool. So typically, it's mainly just used, for example, to farm resources, or sometimes you'll use it to go through and pick up, like, yeah, for example, these bushes. You can use them on silica pearls as well. And you can also use it on a creature that's overburdened. If you hit the creature and they're overburdened with the whip, it'll actually force them to go forward. Now, another great thing is it actually applies a stun effect on creatures. So it helps like with raptors and sabers, or even parasaurs too. If you don't have a bola, if you just go through and hit it in the head, it'll immediately stun it for 3 seconds. You notice it can't move. It has to do a new roar, and then it will run away. Now the other super helpful tip is it actually will go through and make a flyer. I'm just going to fly up here so you can see it. But if you were in the air or using a grappling hook, if you hit any flyer, including a wyvern, with the whip, it will actually make them get stunned and fall down and make them immobilized for 3 seconds. So it is super handy. And then in PvP, if someone has grabbed you, if you hit the flyer with this, it forces them to drop you. Then in PvP also, if you hit a player, there's a chance it'll actually disarm that player as well. So the weapon is a very, very underutilized tool. Now the next one here is going to be, let's head on over to the storage box here, and we will demonstrate a new tip here. What's the Aquatina got? Sweet veggie cakes, okay. Now the next tip is actually going to be, let's grab our plant species fruit. These things are very helpful. Well, actually, we already had some. Whoops. They're also very heavy, so you don't want to carry too many around at once. So the plant species Z fruit, honestly, is one of the best defensive weapons in the game. So let's go see. I actually spawned in a crab over here. So if you allow the crab to grab you, let's leave creative mode. We'll let this crab grab us, and we're just going to equip the fruit here. And he'll walk up and probably grab us in just a second. Hopefully he doesn't kill us before that. Pick us up. There we go. If you throw the fruit, he is forced to let you go. The same thing applies when he actually grabs one of your tames. You do have to be careful though, because he can grab you pretty much right afterwards. So if you do this, you need to immediately do it and then hightail it out of there, because he will chase you. I don't believe the whip can stun him, as he's a larger creature. I believe it only works on smaller creatures. We could try. Yeah, it does not work on larger creatures. It is only smaller. But that is good to know. Now another creature this also works with as well. Let's just fly over here, and hopefully he'll leave us alone. The other creature that's going to work on is going to be the Megalosaurus. I spawned some in over here. They're probably sleeping. Yeah, I think they're sleeping. We'll just spawn in a new one right here, and I'll demonstrate outside of creative mode. So let's leave creative, and then we will spawn in the Megalosaurus. Now, if you go through and hit the Megalosaurus, they will actually pick you or tames up with their secondary attack. Now, I don't know if he'll do this here. Hopefully we'll get lucky and he'll grab us. But when they pick you up, you can throw the plant species Z fruit, and they will actually drop you or your tames, allowing you to get away. Let's see if we could spawn in one of our own creatures and see if he'll actually grab them for you, just to demonstrate this. We'll just go through and spawn in, let's just say a Ravager, because that's most likely what we would have on Aberration. Let's just use I think it's Cave Wolf is going to be their spawn code. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, it's because I didn't put in the full command. But yeah, the plant species Z fruit is super handy. It also works against Purlovias and Capros, make it where they cannot dismount you, if timed effectively, and I'll demonstrate that in just a second here. So hopefully he'll pick up our Ravager. I don't want him to eat him. Let's turn him to passive. They did recently go through and change the Megalosaurus, though, to where they often do use the primary attack far more than their secondary attack, so he may not do it. But if they pick it up, same thing as a Karkanos, just go through and throw out the grenade, and it will actually stun them, and they'll no longer pick up your creatures and they'll drop you. Now when it comes to Purlovias and Capros, you need to time it really effectively, so let's just go over here, and we'll summon a Purlovia right here. We'll just go drop him in, and then we're going to leave render distance just for a moment. That way they actually will go into their mound, and once they're in their mound here, so we're going to let him spawn in. Oh, that's mine. I don't want a tamed one. I want a wild one here. Let's summon a wild one, and then we'll leave render distance so they stay in their mound. So if we leave render, and then we go back, he should be in his mound on the ground. Okay, now let's just leave creative mode here. And so if you get the plant species Z grenade and have it equipped, now you will have to obviously be paying attention. You have to do that with Purlovias pretty much everywhere. I don't know exactly where this guy dropped, but all we're going to do is we're going to wait, and we're going to look for him jumping at us. If we can do it fast enough, I wish I knew where the mound was. We need to hit it right before he hits us, and it will actually make the stun not take effect. I feel like we're going to miss it because I can't see where I spawned this guy in. Let's see if I can fly up a little bit, and we'll see where this mound is at, so we can demonstrate. Okay, it's right there in the middle, near this bison. Hopefully the bison doesn't intervene, but if you see the mound, all you need to do is look towards the mound, aim it directly below the Purlovia, and if we can do this just right here, come on, buddy. Come on, jump out at me. He is not coming out. I think the bison's coming after us, though. Yeah. Why is this guy not coming out of his mound? That's very odd. Oh, now we came out. Okay, well, let's go find a new one. That was he kind of glitched. That was odd. Let's we'll spawn a new one in right here, and then we'll try this again here. Whoops. There we go. So we'll just spawn the wild one in, and then we will run away for a second so it stays in its mound. And we know where that's at. It's pretty easy to see. Now, if we can get him to actually pounce at us, all we got to do is throw this grenade, and it will effectively just make him jump to the side. Now, you don't want to run, because if you're in a run animation, it will actually take you longer to throw the plant species grenade. Oh, I missed. Okay. But I think that actually missed. It may have hit, but usually if you throw it right before it hits them, it will actually make them miss entirely. And I believe the whip should work on the Purlovias as well. Let me see. I don't know if they're large. They might be too large. They are too large. Okay. So anything larger than a Ravager, it won't work. Now the same thing also applies for the whip here. Let me go through and summon in a Capro. We'll fly across the map so the Purlovia leaves us alone. Our Ravager should kill that guy. So if we summon in a Capro over here, we can go through and use the whip on this Capro here. So let's just summon the Capro in, and then we'll make sure to leave creative mode as well. So I think we need to enter the full name. I'll just put Capro for short. I forget a lot of the times it's actually their full name here, not our lingo. There we go. So let me leave this distance here. He's probably going to come after us. I don't remember if the whip worked, to be honest. So we're going to try the whip on him first. Let's see. I got the whip out. And let's see if this actually works. I don't remember if it does. Come on, bud. Let's see if this works. He's going to fight the Yankee. So the whip does not seem to work on him. Hopefully, okay, he's coming after us now. I don't think that works. Yeah, the whip does not work, so it does not make you let go on the whip. So we'll have to kill this guy over here real quick, and then we'll go through and spawn in a second one and test with the plant grenade. Come on, buddy. Trying to demonstrate some stuff here. There we go. Let's fly back up top here. And then we'll use the plant species fruit as well. Now the plant species the fruit for the Capro is not nearly as efficient because they're far more difficult to acquire. But we're just going to throw out the fruit here real quick, hopefully right before he jumps. And we'll throw this here. You notice that it stopped his animation. Now they are pretty expensive, and the Capros are actually far easier to deal with. So let's just spawn in. Let's go to creative real quick. The shield's the easiest way to deal with the Capro, hands down. You can just sit there and make them hit your shield over and over, and it takes a long time for the shield to break. So let's go through and fly over here. Just give us a little bit of room to work with. And then leave here. All we need to do is equip the shield. And then we can just hold up our shield. And as you can see, when he jumps at us, we're just going to stand still. And then we're going to hold our shield. And he will fly right past every single time. Oh, he's going to aggro into the Stego here. But hopefully we can... Let's just summon another one. I'm not too worried. The shield will protect us. He's going to run at us. Hold up the shield. That one didn't hit, but you'll see... pay attention to the shield. You'll watch it actually take damage and have a little reticule on it. See how it took some damage? And if you check the durability... We'll do this one more time. I'll check the durability. And then they fly past you. And as you can see, it is taking damage. This one's level 140, so you could probably only do this one more time before it breaks. Oh, he broke the shield. So utilize the shield for Capros. It's going to be the cheapest solution to actually dealing with them early on. Let's just take this fella out here real quick. PvP is so much for someone that isn't employed. Yeah, no, PvP is definitely a struggle. That's why some of these tips like the shield with the Capro is super handy as well. Let's go through and exit this. Yeah, I don't know if you got that, but the shield will block the Capro. Now, let's see, what else do we have? Now, when it comes to farming creatures as well, let's go through and summon in a Moschops here real quick. We'll demonstrate this. So I often get questions on what's the best way to farm organic polymer. And there are two primary methods, actually technically three. They all differ depending on the situation. So hands down, the Moschops is 100% the best way to farm organic polymer. Pelagornis are only good for harvesting babies, particularly in the wild. Clubs are going to be the cheapest method, though, and Pelagornis do take a long time. So if we summon in a penguin, if I can remember... Whoops, I did not mean to summon that fella in. Don't kill me, please. I'm trying to demonstrate here. Let's just kill the Capro here real quick. And, okay, fella's dead. So let's see if we can summon a penguin. I don't remember the penguin summon code. I think it's their actual name here. So let's see if I can figure out how to spell it. I think this might be it. That was not it. Let me just Google this real quick because I don't remember their actual spawn code. And then I'll show you how to effectively use the Moschops to get more polymer than you will ever need. Let's see here. Did I spell this wrong? I believe I did. Let's see. It's going to be K-A-I... Oh, K-A-I-R. Whoops. That's where I messed up. That should be what we need. Nope. K-A-I-R. Oh, yeah. Spelling is hard, guys. That's very hard. What am I misspelling? Oh, right here. N-A-U. This is why I call them penguins. It's easier. Okay, so we've got a couple of these guys. Now, in order to make this work for the Moschops will not actively eat penguins. If you force them to be aggressive, they will actually passive flee. So you have to kill them yourself. And the Moschops, as you can see, probably ran away, I think. Let me just double check. Okay, he's right there. But he will not help you. Even if you set to aggressive, you have to right him or kill the penguins yourself. And come on, fellas. This one's a tough little cookie. And then there's one more penguin here. Now, in order for the Moschops to actually work, it does need levels. You do have to level it up quite a bit. Its melee stat does not seem to affect the overall harvest. Now, let me figure out what the actual code is to give this guy some experience here. I believe it just gives experience, but let me double check. Ideally, though, the more experience they have, the more it's going to be beneficial. So let's just see if we can give. I think is it add experience or give experience? Let's see what I can find here. Give experience command arc. Add experience. Okay, I was close. So add experience. I don't know if that's enough. And is that going to go to me? That was only one level. I don't feel like that was right. We'll try this one more time. Oh yeah, I did not edit that, right? Let's try one more time. We'll give this guy some experience, and then he should be able to level up. There we go. We'll do this one more time, and I want to get him to max level just to demonstrate how much the difference is. And we're still not getting enough here. Try this. Put another 9 here. Hopefully that'll max it out. Okay, well that's pretty close. So what I'm going to do is I want to show you first, let's just eat one penguin here. So you notice that his melee attack is going to be 363. So if you eat the normal penguin by itself with the Moschops, it's just going to give you a basic 1 polymer. And then if you use the back left trigger on Xbox or PlayStation, it does this weird animation. You'll notice I still just have 1. So now I'm going to invest every single point into the melee stat here, and then I'll demonstrate how much we get by just increasing the melee. It's not a large difference. But the moment you invest in the harvesting levels, it is a massive difference. So once we've got this done, I'm going to eat another penguin corpse. If we could find out where I killed all the penguins. So there is another penguin here. So again, I only have 1 polymer. So now we're going to eat this 1 penguin. I got 6 polymer. Now we're going to use that same ability again. And you notice I still just have the 6 polymer. But now, this is the hidden tip. If you go into their radial wheel, you need to go through and go into behaviors, I believe it is. Or no, harvesting levels. Where is their levels? Here. And upgrade everything into organic polymer. And we'll show you there's a percentage of how much you acquire. Everyone thinks that when you level this up, that it immediately applies to the harvest you get initially, and that is not true. You will still get the default amount for the most part when you first use it, but then you need to use that secondary ability to actually acquire more polymer. You will be here for a minute, because if you put all 73 levels in at once, it's going to take a while. And again, this is not quite max level. Max level will be plus 88 levels, but you're going to see just how much we get. And we'll actually throw out the polymer in his inventory here, just so you can see. Okay, now he's done. So you know what, let's just spawn in a few more penguins, since it'll be easier just to kill them with the Moschops here. So this is just 3 penguins that we've spawned in, and we're going to go through and yeet out this polymer. Now if you use the Moschops to kill these guys here real quick, we're going to eat him. So we got 3 initially on harvest, which was even less than the last one gave us. And then we're going to eat this again. Another 5, so we've got 5 in total, and now we're going to eat this one. So now we should have 6 polymer in our inventory. If you use the special ability now you will notice we have 21. It more than tripled the amount. And the reason is it's kind of like a regurgitation ability. So if you go through and you apply it to that specific resource, this is hands down the best way. So if you do this on a large scale with a penguin farm, let's say you have 20 penguins at a time, you can get hundreds and hundreds of organic polymer in like 60 seconds by just having your Moschops eat everything. Again, they will not aggressively kill them. You'll have to do it while mounted. But that is hands down the fastest and best way to get organic polymer if you have a farm right at your base. If you're in the wild, a Pelagornis is the best for harvesting the babies. And then if you're in the wild, using a wooden club on the adult is going to be the best way. For example, we'll just summon one more in to use the club. And we'll kill this guy if he holds still. Oh, I missed my shot. Usually the club will give you, I believe it's close to 10. Let's just go through and see here. But like I said, everyone often says the Pelagornis is the best way, but the Pelagornis is not the best way. It only applies to wild babies. So now if we use the club on this guy, this is an adult penguin. Let's see how much we get. They give us 2, which is immediately more than the Moschops got before levels. 6, 8, 10. So they give you quite a bit. So they give you 12. So this is a lot of manual labor though. So if you have a farm, the Moschops is the best way. Now let's see, what else? Oh, also with the chainsaw, I've been told the chainsaw works. The chainsaw does not give you more polymer than the club does. Or at least it didn't when I last tested it. We'll test it one more time here, just to experiment. So now if we use the chainsaw, you saw we just got over 10. Usually this gives you more meat and hide. And then this chainsaw gave us 8. It actually gave us less than the club did. So if you want prime meat from the babies, or if you're after something else, the chainsaw is great, but it is not ideal for organic polymer. Alright, we are done with the Moschops for now. He could just go do whatever he wants. Oh, actually, you know what? I lied. Since we have the Moschops, I did demonstrate this before. Moschops is an auto-harvester, meaning if you have them near a resource, particularly bushes, they will automatically harvest fiber. So if I dismount, you'll watch, he's actually going to do this animation. So we're just going to go to Behaviors, and we will set him to Enable Wandering. And then he's going to go through and start collecting these as he gets them. Now the concern with this is that he may wander off into a dangerous area and potentially kill himself. So the fix to that is actually going to be to use what's called a Dino Leash, which is part of the Extinction Engrams if you're in Ark Survival Evolved. And Ark Survival Standard, it doesn't really matter. You're just going to place this down in a radius, and then we're going to go through and set the parameter to just how far we want. So now we should be able to see the range, this red circle here. This bison's probably going to get mad at us, so let's just kill him real quick so I can demonstrate. Go away, fella. So if I fly up here, you can see this red circle. The Moschops will never leave this red circle. So if you go through and find a safe area, throw down this Dino Leash, set your auto harvesters like Moschops or Therizinos to harvest, and if you don't build in that area, if it's like a safe region for sure, let's say you're on Herbivore Island on the island, or you're on this Herbivore Island on the back island, if you just set them to a specific radius, they will never leave it, and they'll farm everything in there. And if you don't build, those resources will constantly regrow themselves. Let's take a quick look at his inventory. He's been here for about a minute, and he's got almost 400 fiber, and I've done absolutely nothing. He's also gathering the berries here as well, I believe, so let's just make sure. We'll see if he gets another bush, and we'll see what he grabs. But he won't leave this area. I think he gets the berries. Let's double check. I know for sure he gets the fiber. Come on, dude. Come over here and take a little snack. Now, also on Ragnarok, specifically, there is a little yellow flower, and those give far more fiber than these do. We'll leave him be. I'm almost positive you get berries, though, because I don't think I harvest any of the bushes. Always go and right for these. Come on. Go get a nice little snack, buddy. Yeah, you know, we'll throw these out. That way I don't lose track. And then we'll come back and check on him in just a second. But these little yellow flowers, let me find them and I'll show you. I think they are over in the redwoods. The yellow flowers on Ragnarok, if you want fiber, either harvest the seaweed in the ocean or harvest these yellow flowers. Don't harvest these standard bushes, as they're going to give far more. Yeah, these flowers right here. But if we summon in another Moschops here real quick, I'll demonstrate that to you. So if you... Let's leave creative here. So if you eat the normal bushes, which is just going to be these bushes over here. I think I'm heavy. He doesn't like that. Let's just get rid of our armor here. So if we eat the basic green bushes, you'll notice they're going to give you 37 fiber, 16, about 30 some each. Now you hit these little yellow ones. They are in large quantities. Or if you use the sickle, for example, let's spawn the sickle in. Let's see. We'll go back to creative real quick. He's actually eating all these here for us. And we'll spawn in the sickle. Now if you use the sickle on these bushes, this is how I got all of my fiber super early on. It just gives you insane quantities with these little yellow flowers, which is far more than the bushes. You over here, I'm only getting like 5 per swing. Barely any at all. But then you hit up these flowers, and because they're so small and they're in large groups, you get far more when you harvest these flowers when it comes to fiber. So if you're on Ragnarok, or if you're on any map and they have these flowers, definitely take advantage of that. Did he harvest some for us? Yeah, he did. He got 85, and he just passively harvested on his own. Let's go check on our other moss shops real quick, and then we will actually, I think we'll do some tips with the Quetzal next, because I often hear what's the best way to tame a Quetzal. I'm going to show you how to do it with honey, as that's been a pretty common question. Let's see, where was our moss shops that we trapped? I think he was over here somewhere. Yeah, so he's still, you can see he cannot leave. He is stuck with the dino leash, so if you want someone to harvest, this is the best way to keep them in that area. He didn't grab, I think he's stuck on the water tank, to be honest. Let's just take this off. He won't be stuck anymore. Alright, you know what, so now let's go through and we're going to spawn in a, let's not use a griffin, because a griffin would just be easy to tame the Quetzal with, because you can shoot from the back of them. Let's use a PT, as the PT is going to be one of the most common flyers that people will be able to have on a map. So let's just spawn in the PT. If we could find the right spawn code, that was not it. I think it's Terra. I think Terra is the spawn code. Or not. Let me look it up here real quick, and then we'll go tame that Quetzal. So if I could figure out what this is, we're going to use our best friend Google here. Google is super handy. Oh, I just, again, need to learn how to spell. That's the problem here. Whoops. Oh, actually, you know what? It's a weird one. It's P-Terra. That's the spawn code. Okay, so now that we've got this, let's head on over to the Quetzal here. Let's see, PT, and that's here. And then we do need honey for this trick to work. You will need a lot of honey sometimes. It depends on how high up they are. So let's use, we'll spawn in maybe 20 honey and see if that's enough. Let's just do 20. Honey does expire fast, so if you're going to do this, you're going to have to go get the honey and then go straight to beeline the Quetzal. Now if you place it on your hotbar, it will automatically refill itself as you use it, so don't worry about that. And then let's just throw out everything in our inventory that we don't need here. That way the PT can actually fly. Okay, I think we're good. Now let's go find this Quetzal and I'll show you how to do this. This honey, again, also works on the wyverns. I'll go show you how to steal a wyvern egg using a PT and utilizing honey, as the honey does distract the wyverns. Let's see, I think the Quetzal was just a little bit farther over here. I probably should have summoned this PT in closer, but that's okay. We'll get to this Quetzal. Quetzals are not that fast. They're awfully slow, so we should be good. I think he was just over here. We may have to just hop off real quick so we can take a peek at where he went, and then we can hop back on the PT. And I don't want to run out of stam. PTs are so slow. I'm so used to using the Griffin now. So we'll just give this guy just a second. We'll leave the PT here, and actually, you know, I think he'll follow us. So let's just see if we can find the Quetzal real quick. And then we will actually go through and do this. Where is the Quetzal? There he is. Okay. Is the PT following us? I don't think he is. Well, it's okay. We have the spawn codes. Let's just summon him in here. And then we'll demonstrate this. So, one PT coming right up. And then let's head on over to this guy. Got a saddle. And then mount this. Okay, now let's go through and get out of creative. And then here's how you do it. So, if you're ever curious how you use honey, honey can be used to lure creatures to traps or to lure them to the ground. So just get close to the Quetzal. Make sure the honey is on your hotbar. And then just toss out the honey. As you're going to see, it will follow the honey to the ground. Now, it only lasts for about a couple of seconds, so you're going to notice he will stop following it, so throw another one to keep his attention. It's about 10 seconds, and then he will lose attention, so he will do a full circle. Once he's done that circle, go through and throw another one down. This is why you want to bring a bunch of honey with you, as they will slowly start to go through and lose the attention span, basically. And as you notice, we have basically got the Quetzal all the way to the ground. So at this point, if you had a trap, you could simply just build a trap over this Quetzal and keep him here in place on the ground. So if we're going to go through and throw out one more honey, and I'll just go through and I'm going to, oh, my PT is attacking him. I don't want that. Chill out, friend. So we're just going to throw that, and then let's go into creative real quick. I'm just going to build a trap. Let's just go gate here, and hopefully he doesn't de-aggro. And we'll throw one more honey out. Ideally, you would obviously come prepared with gates, but if you just go through and place down some gates, Hopefully we can trap him in a box. Ideally, though, the best creature to do this with is a snow owl, as the snow owl can actually freeze the Quetzal once you're on the ground. Oh, he's stuck. That would have been a nice place to go through and trap him. So let's try this. He's going to fly in a circle, I'm assuming. So let's wait till he's in the circle. And then one more time, hopefully. I don't know if he's going to go in. Maybe. I don't know if that's going to be enough. Let's try. Get some gates here. I don't know if we can place down the gates. It may not be enough. He might be kind of stuck. I don't know. I might have to place one more gate, but he's pretty much stuck. You typically want to bring like 4 or 5 gates, as they're not really going to fly too vertical. They're going to, because he has to turn all the way around. He's got a massive turning radius. So you would just lure the Quetzal down with the honey and then trap him with the gates. Now, ideally, like I said, the Snow Owl is the very best creature to do this with. Oh, he did get out. Sad day. Let me show you the Snow Owl, though. The Snow Owl will allow you to actually place pillars to build any trap you want. So let's just build the, I think it's just Owl. Owl is probably the spawn code. There's the Owl. And then, is he still close enough down here? Is he going to see the honey? I think he's too far away. Oh, the Moschops came all the way down here. That is one determined Moschops. Alright, so let's use this here. And we'll throw this on our friend here. Now we don't have a lot of honey left, so let's just spawn some more in to be safe. And then let's leave creative mode. And then, again, you're going to fly up to the guy with the Snow Owl. And the Snow Owl can actually freeze him. You can actually skydive down to him and freeze him out of air. It is extremely challenging. I've only ever managed to pull it off once, but if you can pull the dive off and make contact with the Quetzal, you will actually freeze him out of midair and force him to crash into the ground. Again, though, it's really challenging to pull off, and that usually happens right there. Like 9 times out of 10, you'll just get bumped and then lose your actual acceleration. Hopefully he follows us down here. Let's see if I can, we'll try it. We'll try to see if we can get this to work. I don't know if it will. Nope, he did not want to fall. We'll throw one more honey out. Hopefully he keeps going to the ground here. You want to freeze, fellow? Oh, he's not freezing. Yeah, I think we have to get more speed, but it is really challenging. Oh no, I almost fell off. We definitely fell off. But if we can get him to the ground, basically, just know you could freeze him with the Snow Owl. So there are a couple ways to table him if you don't have a Griffin. Those are going to be the best 2 ways. Now, speaking of honey, though, let's. I'm going to bring us over to the Wyvern Trench and demonstrate how honey can be used to distract wyverns. So we're going to go here, and oh, there's wyverns. Let's not get too close. I'm going to pretend we don't have a Griffin or a Meiguana, as are the 2 fastest aerial mounts, and typically you don't need any distractions, as you can almost always evade them with pretty much relative ease. So instead, we're just going to use, let's use a PT again, as they're going to have low stam. Let's go PT. I've got a PT here. So let's go through and spawn in the saddle real quick, and then slap this on this guy. And there we go. Now let's leave creative mode yet again. And we are overburdened, so we will have to throw some stuff out here. Oh, there's an Arthro. Oh, I think it's because we have the gates. If we get rid of the gates, we should be good. All right, we're good. So now, again, make sure your honey is on your hotbar. And as you get into the trench, before they aggro onto you, as soon as you're kind of close to them, go through and yeet out the honey. So he's getting pretty close. I'm just going to yeet the honey. As you can see, all of them are flying this direction. Look at them all fly behind me. I'm clearing them out so they are all heading to this side of the trench before they ever aggro onto me. Again, I'm not in creative. I left creative mode, so I'm just throwing the honey, and they're all going on the opposite side. As you can see, their actual aggro range to the honey is far greater than their actual aggro range to the player. So you don't even need to draw their attention. They will all flay on the opposite way just by throwing down that honey. Now we are running out of stam, so I'm going to actually be careful and go up here and land real quick. But we'll turn around and look at the chaos. How do you do that throw? Just use it on your hotbar. So place it on your hotbar. As you can see, all the wyverns are down there. So, for example, on here, it's just going to be L triangle. Oh, there's a spider. So yeah, on the hotbar, I'm just using it like it's an active item on the hotbar. So in PlayStation, I just have to hold the L button, and then I'm using triangle. But it's going to be whatever you have it set to on the on your hotkeys. That's how you use the honey from your hotbar. And whether that's in, you can't use it when you're in the air. It won't consume it. No, it will not consume it. It actually throws it out instead. This same trick can also be used to lure and pacify giant queen bees for taming. It's one of the simplest ways to tame them. I think they're mad at us, so I'm actually going to get the heck out of here. But as you can see, honey can easily distract wyverns, so you can go in and snatch some eggs. Let me just get over here and we'll regroup. But yeah, no, I will not consume it. If you use it, let's land here and hopefully we don't die to a pyromane. If you use the honey from here and you throw it out, it will throw it out like you're just getting rid of an item. And then if you actually go into your menu here, you have the option to consume it as if it's food. But while it's on your hotbar, it counts as a throwable item. That's the only way to throw it out. Yeah, it's super handy. So, like I mentioned, it can be used to lure quetzals to the ground. You can lure seagulls, which obviously, just shoot those guys. You don't need to do that. But it will pacify a lot of creatures. It does not seem... I tried to use it on a Rex the other day, though, and it did not work. So I don't know if it works on a Giga. I'd be happy to go test that. Let's just go see if we can find a Giga real quick. And we can test it, see if it works on a Giga to lure them into a trap. It'd probably be a lot safer. I'm assuming it's not going to work, but it doesn't hurt to try. So let's just test this out. And then after this, we'll go spawn in a queen bee, and we could test it on the queen bee here. So let's see. We'll do summon... And then if I can remember what the Giga spawn is, I think it's Gigant, I believe is the spawn code here. Yes, it is. That is a wild one. That is one angry boy. Now, we're going to get some distance here. Hopefully he de-aggroes. I want him to de-aggro. Now, let's leave creative mode again. And let's see if it works on the Giga. I don't think it works on the Giga, though. I'm pretty sure if it doesn't work on the Rex, it probably doesn't work on the Giga. So let's see. The aggro range is pretty big. Let's see if this works. That should be more than enough. So if it does work, this should draw him near. And he is looking this way, but I don't think he's coming this way. Yeah, so it does not work on Gigas or Rexes. So the land-based creatures it does not work on. I don't know if this works on ocean creatures. That'd be interesting to test on things like Tusos, because if you can use honey... No, actually, I don't think you can use honey. Let's see if we can use honey in the water. Let's go test that out. I haven't actually tried that, because technically it's a food, and you can't eat food beneath the water, but because it's on your hotbar, it doesn't count as food, so I don't know. So if you're swimming, you can throw it out. That's good to know. I don't remember where the squid trench is. Does anybody remember where the squid trench is on Ragnarok? I believe it's up north, isn't it? Let's set the time of day here for it's easier for you guys to see. Is the squid trench in the north? I want to find some squids and see if honey works on distracting the squids. Oh, there's a squid. Never mind. All right, so let's see if the honey works on him. Okay, he's swimming. Here's a megalodon. Will this distract the megalodon? Or are they going to come for me? Honey, he is going for the honey. He is not going for me. Okay, so honey works on megalodons. It will distract them. Megalodons are actually pretty easy to avoid. If you put flippers on, you're faster than them for the most part. So megalodons are not a big deal. What about the squid, though? Okay, can you eat the honey or are you going to go for me? He is definitely going to go for me. Okay, so it does not work on Tusos. The only other thing I'd be curious about is, what about Scyphactinus? I would assume it does work on them. I don't know where they're at. Oh, now speaking of megalodons, though, this is a good little tip. If you're looking for raw prime meat, megalodons actually give you raw prime meat, but they will not give you raw prime meat if you do it with a creature. Yeah, we'll test it on the Mosa too. In order to get raw prime meat from a megalodon, you have to use a pick or a hatchet. Creatures will only give you regular fish meat. But if you use the hatchet, for example, oh, this guy, he ate our corpse. Let's just kill both of them and I can demonstrate this to you. 1 and 2. All right. So let's go through and harvest them up. And as you can see here, you can see we did just acquire our first raw prime meat. Typically, each corpse often yields between 2 to 3, regardless of whether you're using a pick or a hatchet. It does say technically in order to use or get prime meat that hatchets give you more than picks, which is the opposite of most cases since picks tend to give you more meat. However, I personally have not noticed a difference. This same tip also applies to Scyphactinus and Donkeys. All three of them can give you raw prime meat if harvested with your tools. Let's just spawn in a Mosa since I don't know where Mosas are on this map. I've only seen a few of them. And we'll see if the honey works on the Mosa. Let's find out. And I think that should be the spawn code. There is one angry Mosa, and I am inside the Mosa. That is something very terrifying. Can you just go away? There we go. Okay, so hopefully he's mad at me. Let's see, does the honey work on the Mosa? He is de-aggroed. Let's leave creative mode so he leaves me alone. Okay, now I want him to aggro onto me. No, he's not aggroed. He just left. He wants nothing to do with me. Okay, come on, bud. Can you aggro onto me? What? I don't know. He's kind of bugged out. He doesn't like that. Let's, you know what? I might be too high. Maybe it's because we're too high. Let's find a low position on the map. Let's go down here. They bug out if they get too close to the surface. Let's see if this works. Okay, 135. That is one scary Mosa. Okay, now let's see if the honey works, or is he going to leave? Okay, he's coming back. Let's see if the honey works or if he's coming for me. I think he's going for the honey. Let me get some distance from him, and we'll leave creative mode. Oh, there's an alpha. I don't think honey works on alphas. Let's test. We'll test that out here. So we're up here. Honey. Is he going to go for me or the honey? He is... No way. The alpha is going for the honey? Okay, well I hadn't tested that before. That's pretty cool. Alright, we'll use this too so they leave me alone. I want to see if the Mosa actually goes to the honey. I'm afraid this alpha is going to nip me in the butt though and one-shot me. We are low on honey, so let's use this. Now, it is important to know you cannot use honey while you are in the air. As in, if you are jumping, you can't use it. You have to be swimming or walking or riding a creature. So I don't know if that means if on the glide suit if you can use it or not. Come on, Mosa. Are you going to eat me or are you going to eat the honey? The Mosa's kind of bugged out. I don't know if we'll be able to tell with the Mosa. He's kind of being weird, but it definitely worked on the Alpha Meg, which is really weird. I am suffocating, so we will have to leave here in a second. He's literally... They're about to nip me in the butt, but they're going for the honey instead. That's wild. I think it is working on the Mosa, to be honest. Okay. Oh, well, I got one shot. That was bound to happen eventually. That's okay. I think it worked on the Mosa. It definitely worked on the Meg, though. All right, let's go back up here. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention, and it is an extremely common misconception that I see consistently on my video regarding the Quetzal. Rare flowers do not work on Quetzals. I hear it all the time, and it is not true. So if anybody tells you that, don't listen to them. Rare flowers do not work on Quetzals. They work on many creatures. They don't work on alphas, and they don't work on Quetzals. I'll show you that now here. We can just summon in a Quetz here real quick. Let's see, Quetz. And summon him in. And then I don't... So if you notice here, while I am flying, I can't use the honey. I am curious if that applies to the glide suit as well. So we'll see that in a second. But let's summon in another PT. And then I'll show you the rare flower here with this Quetzal. But they do not work. Here is that. And that. And then we'll just summon in some rare flowers here real quick. Now, if you do want to extend the shelf life of your honey, by the way, since it doesn't last so long, you can just throw it on a fishing pole and it will last indefinitely. Now let's leave creative mode and we'll put the rare flower on my hotbar here. Now the Quetzal should be somewhere up here. Oh, we have the clouds. Let's disable the clouds for performance concerns here. I forgot the clouds were on this entire time. My bad, guys. Everything just runs better on PS5 when there are no clouds. So, oh, there's a Quetzal. Wait, why is this Quetzal walking? I have never seen a Quetzal walk before. Well, that's pretty cool. So watch, I'm going to use this flower, and the Equus is going to aggro to me, and they're going to attack me. The Quetzal is not going to attack me. Rare flowers do not work on Quetzals, so do not be misinformed. Everything else will attack you. They will not. Let's head back over to the base, of it, as we've actually got quite a few items over there that I could show you. Let's head back over here. Well, the makeshift shop that I created with some demonstration tools over here. Oh, actually, the one thing that the rare flowers do work on, though, is Purlovias. Let's test this out. So if we spawn in a Purlovia, let's do this here. I believe it's just Purlovias. They actually cannot dismount you if you have a rare flower active. Oh, you know what? In order for this to work, I'll probably need to be far enough away to where it actually goes into its mound. And then we'll come back, we'll fly back in, and I'll demonstrate that they can't dismount you here. So, or stun you. Purlovia, and then we'll use the Stego next. The Stego also cannot be dismounted, like in any capacity. Okay, there is the mound. So we are far enough away so it won't aggro onto us. And then let's leave creative mode. So you've got the rare flower on your hotbar. By the way, rare flower effects stack. As you can see, if we use 1, we have 9. Now it's 18. Now I'm running straight for the mound. I'm not in creative and I'm not doing anything. So I'm going to run straight for the mound. He will stun you when you're not on a creature. Now I'm going to go into creative mode so he doesn't kill us. And then I'm going to spawn in a creature and demonstrate it with the creature. This is one of the easiest ways to bypass like the Tech Cave and the Hard Ice Cave or Hard Snow Cave on the island. Let's just go over here real quick. And let's just ride a... We'll just do a PT since we've been using a PT this whole time. I've never tried it with the flyer, to be honest. I've only ever used like small creatures, but we'll do it with a PT. And then we'll give him a saddle. Tell him to stop moving. And then let's go summon in one more Purlovia. Unless this guy... Oh, he reburied himself. Perfect. Alright, so let's leave creative mode yet again. It's always important whenever you're testing anything out. You can use creative to spawn everything in, but during the actual test, you need to turn off creative in order for the test results to be accurate. A lot of people often make that mistake. You have to turn it off or you don't know for sure if it actually works. Alright, so now we're going to use the flower again. Again, I haven't tried it on flyer yet, but ideally I shouldn't get dismounted. As you can see, he flew right past me. So if you're in... Apologize about that. There's somebody outside doing yawn work. If you did hear that. But yeah, so if you're in the Hard Ice Cave or the Snow Cave, they just can't dismount you. Everything else will aggro to you, but Purlovias cannot dismount you when the flower effect is going on. It used to work for the Capro and the Microraptors. I just tested it yesterday. It no longer works. And it does not work on the Bison. I already tried that as well. Rare flowers do not work underwater, so it will not work if a Tuso grabs your tame, for example. And because of that, they also do not work on the Siphachthinus. So as of right now, they only work with the Purlovias. Now let's go through and head back over to the base. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll fly right over here. Now what else do we got here? We've already discussed the rare flower effect. Oh, you know what we didn't do? We did not get a giant queen bee. Let's spawn in a queen bee real quick. I don't know the spawn code, but I'll just show you. And the honey will distract the queen bee. So let's just go here. And let's leave creative mode. And then let me find the spawn code for the bee real quick. Because I don't know what it is. I'm assuming it's queen bee, but you never know. There's some weird ones. Like Ravager is called Cave Wolf, for example. Let's see. So for the queen bee, it really is bee_queen. Okay, see, I would not have got that. They got some strange ones here. bee_queen. And then one more, I believe. And that should be it. We don't want a tamed version. We want a wild version. There we are. Now if you throw out the honey, you can see that it's aggroed at me, and then it immediately turned around and it went for the honey. As you can see, they are all going for the honey. So if I throw out this, they will all go for the honey. Let me look and see what you need to tame a queen bee. I forget what their kibble is. Let's just go queen bee here real quick. I think it's just a rare flower, isn't it? Which I happen to already have on me. So we can actually see if we can tame this here. Where is the queen bee? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, rare flowers. So let's just go through and we'll use the honey on these bees here. And then I'm going to put the flowers over here. Now, let's throw out the honey. I'm going to crouch down. I am stunned. Not every single one of them is distracted, but I should be able to feed the bee now. I don't have Gilly on. Gilly would definitely help, so would Bug Repellent. I can't access its inventory. Let me switch to first person. If you ever are struggling to tame a creature for passive taming, it is 100% easier to do it in first person. Don't ask me why, but I play in third person like 95% of the time. If you are passively taming a creature, though, do it in first person. Otherwise, trying to see their icon that's close by is just far more challenging. Oh, it was there for a second. I don't have Gilly Arm around. Like I said, it'd be far easier, but they're not killing me, and I'm not in creative. The honey keeps them distracted. It's not popping up. It might be glitched out because I spawned it in, and I am dying now. But again, we'll throw out the honey, and they're going to de-aggro. Alright, now let's switch back to third person, as I prefer that. And then, you know what, let's go, I'm going to show you how to get honey really easily. I don't know, we'll go to the Redwoods. I don't know if we actually can find a hive. The hives were kind of bugged out for me here in single player. But basically, the easiest way to get honey with the hives is to use a dire bear. Their secondary attack will allow you to harvest the hive, see if you can find one, to get 15 honey without drawing any aggro. You can then return back to that exact same hive to do it again every 15 minutes. So that's the easiest way to get honey early on prior to taming your first bee. I don't know if there's any hives though. When I checked these areas, they were all bugged, and even with the Dino Finder, there was no giant queen bees for me. Single player spawns just suck. But yeah, I'm not seeing any. So dire bear is going to be your best bet to get honey. If you're looking for someone, you don't have a bee yet. Now, let's head back over to the base. I did have some stuff set aside here in the actual building. Where is my makeshift base? There it is. You can see all my building tutorials over there. I've kind of turned this Highlands area into a building spawn. It's pretty flat and fun. Okay, oh, now the Achatina. Speaking of the Achatina. So Achatinas are great if they are set to passively wander. They actually can produce what's called Achatina paste, which is a substitute for cemented paste. They will produce up to 100 paste in total. Now, when they do this, eventually, if you leave it in their inventory, they will then produce an organic polymer. That polymer, though, expires really, really fast. In fact, it only can stack up to 13. It technically can build up to 100, but because it expires so fast, it will not last long. However, they do have a special perk that not a lot of people know about. So I'm going to show you that here, if I can remember how to spell the penguins. Awesome. Let me just kill this penguin here real quick, and I will demonstrate what that is. Now let me just spawn in a club, as clubs are going to be the second best way to farm polymer. And then let's get this. Oh, where'd my club go? Oh, it's on my hotbar. Cool. So the Achatinos actually are great for storing organic polymer. You typically cannot extend the shelf life of organic polymer. However, Achatinas will triple the total shelf life. So if you'll notice that when it's in my inventory here, that it's going to be 29 minutes and 40 seconds. If we spawn in a PT and we put this in their inventory, you'll notice it is still the 29 minutes and 30 seconds. Now if you put it in the Achatina's inventory, you'll notice that it goes all the way up to 1 hour and 28 minutes, tripling the total shelf life of organic polymer. So if you need to store it for short-term use, that is the fastest way to keep organic polymer from expiring. If you want to actually make it last longer, then the best way is to use the grinder. Now, speaking of the grinder, let's talk about that. The grinder is something that people often refer to as the best way to get resources with extra tools, but that is not always the case. Let's go through and build some foundations here so we can slap down a grinder. It's going to look kind of weird being on thatch foundations, considering that grinders are late game items, but it's okay. We'll just make this work. So hopefully this is close enough to the power supply here. And let's build the grinder. And here's the industrial grinder. So with the industrial grinder, that works here. And let's turn this on. So typically when you throw an item into the grinder, so for example, if we throw in this here, everything that you would typically get from this item, let me tell you, does it say everything we had here? So let's go back here, and the grinder is, let's see, what are you supposed to get from the grinder? So the grinder typically takes, it's going to be 800 paste, 3200 metal, 600 polymer, 2000 crystal, and 600 oil. So that is a lot of resources. I'm going to take a picture of that so I don't forget that, and then I'll go through and talk to you about why this is the wrong way to do this. If you have weapons and saddles, use the grinder. It's the only way you can do it. If you have a structure, don't do it. Now you'll notice if I grind this up, stick the grinder back in here, grind all items. Now do you remember the amount of metal I just told you that this thing had? So this only gave us 150 metal, but it cost us 3,200 metal to build. It also cost us 2,000 crystal, and we only got back 150. And then it cost 600 polymer, and we only got back organic polymer. Just remember that. Now we're going to spawn in one more grinder. So if you ever get a drop for grinders or behemoth gates, structures, do not stick it in the grinder. Now I'm going to leave creative mode here real quick. Now, when I go to destroy this, manually select to destroy it. Now look at how many items I got. If you use the manual destroy option, you are guaranteed to get back 50% of the total invested resources. So if you have extra structures, never, ever, ever stick them in the grinder. Manually break them down. And you'll notice, the grinder always gives you organic polymer. If you break them down by hand, you're guaranteed to get back regular polymer. So if you ever have an extra structure that's super beefy, let's say you find metal behemoth gates in a drop, bring them back to your base as they weigh very, very little. But they're worth. Like, let's go through and do the gate real quick. Let me just drop all this stuff and let me demonstrate to you. The amount of weight that these gates are in comparison to the total resources they give you is 100% worth bringing them back to your base. So if we go back into here, into creative mode, and we'll spawn in a behemoth gate, know that the grinder is not always the best option. So let's just do this here. And let's put this gate down here. Hopefully I have enough room. And then if you can also do this with like metal elevator tracks, for example. If you don't ever plan on using an elevator, we can build one of those too. Let's just build an elevator here real quick. I think it's platform is for one of them. Probably need to put more text in. So for let's go with the medium one as that's pretty common. And then let's just go to elevator as well. And the elevator track. Now if you do find an elevator track, I would recommend you keep at least one track. That way you can go through and do this with any future platforms. That might be too close to the gate, to be honest. We'll see right now. There we go. Okay, so now you can see we've got these all spawned in here. So with the gate, if we break this down manually, just the gate, or the inside, we get 750 metal and 150 paste. Now I'm going to go into creative. I'm going to show you over with the grinder here. Again, if you separate the gate, so this is just the inside piece, we're going to place one of these in here. Let's get rid of all the materials that are already in here. Now we're just going to grind up this one gate. So as you can see in my inventory, I have 750 metal, 175 paste. Use this, you get 150 metal and only 106 paste. So if you are using the grinder for structures, just stop doing it. It's not the right way, it's not the fastest way. By hand is the best way. And then again, of course, I'll show you with this gate. As you can see too, each one of these, so this gate, if you find it in a drop, this gate weighs 4, but it's worth 750 metal and 175 paste. So it is 100% worth bringing back to your base. Don't just throw these out on the ground, ever. They are worth the investment. And then if we break down this big boy here, the actual gateway, we get polymer, metal, and paste. And then if you do the same thing here, break down the platform first, you get metal, polymer, and paste. And then the same thing here applies to the track. Gates are obviously worth a lot more. The actual tracks, though, do give you electronics. But if you notice, if we place, let's say, this platform here in this area, and you grind it up, you don't get a lot. So I think I've kind of made my point. But yeah, so the grinder, if you ever have extra weapons or armor that are higher tier, 110% place them in the grinder. But absolutely never place a structure in the grinder unless you just can't be manually bothered to break them down, as you're just wasting literally hundreds or thousands of resources. So hopefully someone didn't know that, and that's helpful. I found that super helpful when I'm collecting drops. With that being said, let's head back over to the Akatina and see if the Akatina has gone through and spawned in some paste here while being on wander. Let's see here. It is chilling. Let's see if it spawned in some paste. And as you can see, it went through and it did generate 6 Aquatina paste. This is the polymer we placed in earlier. It will not generate its own polymer until this paste has reached 100. Now, a way to make this even more efficient, let's pick this guy up, and I'll throw him out here, is actually to set it on wander. And as it's wandering, it will actually drop down Aquatina droppings, or poop, essentially, that also acts as paste. It does this at an even quicker rate than it does with the paste in its inventory. So if you have a gacha set to follow your Aquatina, as long as you keep stone or something else in the gacha's inventory to eat, it will then generate 100 paste in its inventory, and the gacha will gather up to almost 150 at the same rate, giving you a lot of paste really, really fast. That's the fastest way to passively farm paste, is to use an Aquatina with a gacha following it. Sorry, that was a mouthful. Let's see what else. There's another let's talk about knocking creatures out, because this is another pretty big one that's often a common misconception. We do have some narcotics, so let's grab those, and then we're going to need some narco berries, as this is a pretty big one. Narco berries are better than narcotics 9 times out of 10 for keeping creatures asleep. Oh, actually, you know what? Since we're here, canteens. Someone the other day didn't know this. If you fill up a canteen or a water jar and you place it in the fridge, you then give it a chilled effect. Let me leave creative mode here. Now, you might be wondering what that's for, and that chilled effect essentially heals. What's it called? When you're in the desert, heat stroke. Yeah, it's going to cure the heat stroke for you. So you'll notice if you use this here and you consume it. Now, if you notice in the bottom right-hand corner, I have a buff. And it's called Cooling You Down. So it's going to actually increase your resistance to the heat, and it's going to remove heat stroke from you as well. So if you're ever going to head out to the desert, place one of your canteens or water jars in the fridge prior, and wait until it gets this chilled effect. It will keep you cooler while you're in the desert, and then also if you use it while you're out in the desert, it will actually go through and remove the heat stroke. Now, this chilled effect does only have a certain duration. As you can see, it has a spoil timer here of 7 minutes. So it does spoil fairly fast, and then it's going to become normal water after that. But as you can see too, I'm continuing to drink this, and I'm not in creative, and I'm getting all of these different chilled effects. Berries, yeah, that is a very common misconception. So that is, I got distracted with the canteens here. We are going to go test out berries on our products and show that is not the case. I've been using it this entire taming challenge I've been doing on Ragnarok. Oh, one last thing too. I don't believe we're in creative. We are not. Let's go to creative real fast. And let's go over to the water here where I have a water tank set up. There should be some water tanks nearby. Yeah, let's put a water tank in here real quick. And I'll demonstrate this since we're on the topic of water, and then move over to berries and narcotics, because that is a very great point, and yes, it is a common misconception. Berries and narcotics do not affect a creature's taming effectiveness. Alright, so we've got the water tap. Now let's leave creative mode, for example, and we're just going to literally... can I chug the rest of this water? The water, it seems to just constantly allow us to drink from it, and it's not consuming. I didn't realize that, actually. I didn't realize that that chilled effect is both on ASA and ASE. Yes, it is. It is on both games. Something I did not know about this, it seems that as I'm consuming this, and again, I'm not in creative, that I'm able to drink a lot of this. I thought usually with canteens you only get 3 drinks, so I don't know if that means if it's chilled that it gives you even more drinks. I did spawn this in, so I don't know for sure. So in order to check the validity of that, let's spawn in, or not spawn in, let's just do a normal canteen and fill it up ourselves. And then let's leave creative mode again. So all we're going to do is put the canteen on our hotbar. Now before I do this though, let me show you something. I'm going to just go through and run because I need to burn off some stam here real quick, as using these stams is actually going to drain our water. So I want to demonstrate this. So we're literally just burning our stam at this point. But basically, you can go through and drink without ever actually interacting with the tap. You can actually do it remotely. So our stam's about half down. So you will notice that as your stam recovers, if you watch your menu, as your stamina goes to recover, it actually drains your food. So while you're sprinting, your water slowly goes down. Oh, you know what? The water is not going to go down because it's raining. But you notice that the water is over there. I'm not anywhere near it. But I'm going to activate my canteen. It fills up your canteen at a distance without ever interacting with it. And at the same time, it also refills your player's water stat. So if you want to go through and drink remotely, as long as you are near a water tap or a water tank, if you are within the radius of where the water is currently irrigating, you could simply just drink from your water jar, your canteen, or your water skin, and it will fill it up and fill up your player's inventory without ever needing to actually walk over to take a drink. Now, that being said, let's go place this canteen here in the fridge, and we'll come back to it. And I'm curious to see if it still lasts longer than 3, because I did not know that, if that's the case. That's something new that I would have just learned testing this out here with you guys. Let's put it in this fridge, as there's nothing in this fridge. This PT is going to drive me nuts. Be gone, my friend. Go away. Alright, let's get the narcotics, and let's just take the... We'll take the shocking darts, as that's going to be the fastest way to knock a creature out. Now, let's find a creature that has fast draining torpor. Well, actually, there was a Giga up here. I just am afraid it would take a long time to knock this Giga out. Wait a minute. This Giga was level 70, or maybe I killed it. I don't know. That's crazy. I thought that Bison just killed it. Let's see, what would have fast... You know what? Let's go find a Beaver. Beavers and Therizinos. Yeah, so Narco Berries are better than narcotics for keeping creatures asleep. Let's go to find a Beaver, though, as pretty much Gigas in every single herbivore. But Beavers and Theries are one of the worst ones. Will wake up right away if you're not careful. So let's go. Let's see. Beaver Lake is going to be this direction here. I don't know what that is. That's probably a snake tripping out. That's weird. Typical Ark stuff. No big deal. So this should be Beaver Lake over here. I think we're almost there. Oh, it's up here. Whoops, I went a little too far. Yeah, there we are. So let's find a beaver. And then we'll just get out of creative mode. And then... Actually, I lied. Let me go back into creative mode so we can get a Ebola real quick. And then we'll leave, as Ebolas do work on beavers. And then we'll just quickly knock it out with some Trink Darts. And then I will show you that, 1, narcotics do not affect taming effectiveness. And Narco Berries are better than narcotics for keeping creatures asleep. The only thing you should ever be doing with Biotoxin, the only thing, is using it to craft Trink Darts. It's just going to be the best thing. So I wouldn't use it to knock a creature out. It inflicts more torpor, but that means that it actually keeps them asleep for less amount of time. And we will demonstrate that with the beaver, as, like I said, they are quick to wake up. Let's head over here, and let's see if we can find a beaver. There's a beaver. Hopefully I don't get freaking swarmed, because there's like a whole army of them here. I don't know what level this guy is. I don't really care. We'll just use it to knock him out. So we're going to use Ebola here real quick. And then hopefully we don't get the whole posse join in. I haven't touched their dam, so they should leave me alone. It should only take a couple of darts, as they are shocking darts. I don't know what level he is, but we should be fine. Hopefully the higher the level, the better, because he'll have more torpor. As long as he knocks out, that's all that we care about. Take a sleep, beaver. Okay, he's knocked out. So this guy's torpor is going to drop insanely fast. Oh, we've got a mad beaver. Hello, friend. Well, I guess we'll knock this guy out too. I wasn't planning on knocking out 2. He's probably like 1 or 2 shots because he's level 20. And then we're going to gather some berries. Okay, so I'm going to set a timer here, just so we can keep track of how long they've been asleep. So it's been about 15 seconds. We'll add 15 seconds to whatever I just added to the timer. Now we're going to gather some berries here really quickly. So let's just spawn in a trike to gather berries. So that's going to be probably the fastest method with a smaller creature. I believe trike is their spawn code. Yes, it is. Oops, I'm sorry. I just punched you right in the bum. My bad, bro. My bad. And then let's get a saddle for him. Perfect. And then let's just get... We'll get like 2 stacks of berries just to demonstrate. But beavers wake up insanely fast. It's wild. Alright, so we've got 20. If I could find the yellow bushes, I would get way more berries. But Sadly, this is not going to give us a lot. If we get at least a stack, we'll be fine. We've got time to kill anyway, so we have to wait for the beaver to actually drop some torpor. Not a great place to gather berries, that's for sure. I could have spawned them in, but we need time to kill, so it doesn't hurt to harvest. Yeah, Theory, Beaver, Thyla, I 100% agree. All of them drain pretty quick. The Thyla is not as bad as the Theory and Beaver, but they definitely do drop quick. Oh, by the way, the Bison. The Bison is now my least favorite creature to knock out and tame. It drains insanely fast, maybe even faster than the Theory. I had a heck of a time trying to tame it during the Tame Everything challenge. Yeah, that's crazy. They're nuts. They drain real fast. Maybe not as fast as the Theory. Maybe I'm just being exaggerating. But yeah, it wasn't fun. It was a nightmare. Okay, we should have about a stack and a half here. And I'm guessing the beavers probably already dropped down by a good 1,000 or close to. Okay, so let's head over here. Now, let's go take a peek at our beavers. Oh, actually, let's make our trike chill out here. And I should still have the narcotics on me as well. Yes, I do. So if we go to this guy here, he's already dropped quite a bit. So he has dropped roughly 600 torpor. Now, first, I want you to watch his food. A common misconception is that if you feed them a narco berry, that it's going to affect an herbivore's food, and because of that, it will ruin its taming effectiveness. So its food is at 5,141. We're going to feed him once, and his food is still dropping. Oh, I just fed that to myself. Whoopsies. I'm a big dum-dum. I lied. Okay, let's not do that again. We've done that on the stream once before. So his torpor is 5,135. We'll wait till it gets down. And now we're going to feed it to him. And as you can see, the food is still continuing to drop. Feeding them a berry does not affect an herbivore's stats whatsoever, because narco berries count as narcotic-inducing items and not as a berry. Now, with that being said, we can watch his torpor dropping. He is at 1,400. So we're going to go through and feed him one narcotic. It's been about 3 minutes, by the way. So we're going to stop this timer now, and we're going to go through and use the one narcotic. It gives you all the times on the Ark Wiki if you want the specifics for this. But as you can see, we're at 1330. We're going to feed him one narcotic in his inventory. I almost did that to myself. That would have been bad. Let's wait till we're at 1300, and we'll use just one narcotic. Okay, we're going to watch it rise. As you can see, it's going to rise here. I didn't quite press start, but as you can see, it's increased by almost 10, or I think it's just over 10, and now it's dropping again. We'll do that one more time because I actually didn't press start at the right time. So we'll do this here, and let's see how long this takes for that actually to drop again. So as you can see, we have got 46. Okay, so it's about 8 seconds, and then it's going to start dropping again. Now with the narco berry, we'll wait till it's at 1300 exactly, and we'll do this again. And there we are. And you'll see it's going to slowly start to rise, and then it will stop after about 3 seconds. But if you use them repetitively, it will keep them asleep for longer. And the reason being is, you notice that the narcotic over 8 seconds induced far more torpor. So if I use, let's say, bring this down to 80, that's going to inflict a larger amount of torpor fairly quickly. A creature's torpor will stop decreasing while it is increasing. But the moment the torpor hits its max capacity, so if this beaver's torpor is to reach 2,114, no matter how many narcotics, you could feed it 5 stacks of narcotics. The moment it hits max torpidity, it's going to start dropping again, no matter how many narcotic items you used. So the goal is not ever to max out its torpidity. Ideally, to keep the creature asleep the longest, wait for this bar to drop as low as possible, and then feed it like 4 or 5 stacks of narco berries, and you will keep it asleep for 15 or 20 minutes. It's going to take far longer for these berries to take effect. So we saw that it dropped about 1,000 in total while just letting it sit here and have its torpor drain. You can see that the torpor is still increasing with the 15 that we used, and overall it's increased by roughly, I think we're at 1,300 before, so it's increased by almost 200 roughly. I think we'll end up right around 200 or 300. Thank you, Faison. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoy them. So we're at 1,600. And we fed them about 20. So again, There is a place to use narcotics, but it's not all the time. The best time to use narcotics would be if you're thinking, oh wow, I am really low on items, I need to get back to base to get narco berries, I don't have enough on me. If their torpor is low, use the narcotics to increase the maximum torpor to refill their bar. But if you want them to stay asleep for longer, then you always want to use the berries. So narcotics and biotoxin if you want to max out their bar because you need to leave for some reason. But if you want to keep them out for longer so their food meter actually drops, then use narco berries. I hope that makes sense. We're just going to leave these guys here though. They're fine. Now something that's actually reminded me of another trick that I was told doesn't work in ASA and only works in ASE, but I've got it to work twice. So we're going to demonstrate live taming or instant taming in RG. So I've had it work before, so we're going to try it and hope that it still works. Now, before we do that, let's just go find somewhere nice to set up. Probably the snow biome is going to be the best, as there's quite a few of them over here near the canyons and the snow biome. Should be some right over here. And then we will just lure one into a trap, and we're going to try an instant tame it. Let's see if we could find one, otherwise we'll just spawn one in. I'd rather not spawn one in, just to be like real testing and have them just walk up. But if we need to spawn one in, we could definitely do that. Is there a wild RG that wants to be my friend? There we are. Oh, that's my RG. That is not a wild RG. I lied. Okay, we're going to spawn one in. So let's just build a trap here real quick. We'll use this area as the trap since there's no creatures here. And then I'll just use my trap just to self-promote a little bit, you know. But any RG trap works. You don't have to use my trap. I like my trap because it's simple. I have noticed there is one downside to my trap. If you are playing on like a PvP server with really crappy ping, it is not nearly as effective, as it does take some time for it to actually work. So, as the secret door does take longer to close, and then we will build... Am I building this right? Yeah, it's like that. There we go. I was wondering if I was even building my own trap right. All sorts of kerfuffled. And then put the ramp down, and there's the trap. Alright, let's get rid of this wood here. Now, let's use a crossbow. Actually, no, we'll use the shocking darts. Now, all you need to do, let's find a corpse. And we need a corpse to make this work. So, I think there was a Phiomia over here. Can we drag Phiomias? I honestly don't know if we could drag a Phiomia. I think they're too big. Let me find out. Alright. Can we drag his body? Oh, we sure can. That is a fat, beefy boy. Who wants some bacon? We got a whole lot of bacon here. He is hefty. How was our player able to carry this monstrosity? This guy's big. Alright, so let's just drop this here. We don't want the RG to aggro onto that. And then we'll spawn in the RG on this side, and then we'll just lure him over. Oh, and we want a magnifying glass, as that's going to make things far easier too. And, oops, I made a spyglass, not a magnifying glass. So let's get this here, and we'll place this here on our hotbar. And let's leave creative before we do the test. And then let's just spawn in, we'll put the gun equipped, and then we'll spawn in the RG here. And should be, I think Argent is the taming, or sorry, the spawn code. And make sure this is a wild one. Oh, I almost spelled that incorrectly. Okay, come on, you angry bird. Follow me to a new home. For the trap to work, you just basically get him to follow you into the store. No, don't go for the corpse. Don't go for the corpse. He's gonna go for the corpse. You stupid bird. I forgot that they eat corpses. Alright, let's see if we can... Now, hopefully he stays aggroed onto me and not the Phiomia. Come eat tasty human. Oh, he's on the corpse. I'm gonna have to get rid of that corpse, I think. Come, buddy. Go into your trap. I might have to get rid of this Phiomia. We'll try this one more time. If not, we'll get rid of it. Yeah, he's getting distracted with the corpse. Let's go, let's have him eat the corpse real quick. Eat the corpse. Come on. Get your tasty snack before I imprison you for life. We might be able to carry the Parasaur. Oh yeah, there's the Doed. We've got plenty of options. Okay, come on. Come over to me. You angry birdie. Alright. So, he's going to follow me over. Hopefully he doesn't knock me off the edge. That would be embarrassing. Alright, now he should follow us straight into the trap since the corpse is not a distraction. We'll just stand right here. Wait for him to come in. Pop around the corner, close the door. All right, Nighty Night Bird. Now we're gonna leave him here. He can break the wood, but I'm not super worried. So let's go find a corpse really fast. I don't know if we can carry these, but did I get rid of my... Oh, I'm not in creative, that's why. Let's just use our gun to kill these corpses here real quick. So that is one thing. You have to be careful using the corpse before you trap them, as they're going to... Oh, no! I used the teleport feature, as they're going to aggro onto the corpse instead. Okay, let's see if we can drag this corpse. He's going to get tasty, baby. Now, let's check his torpor. In order for this to work, you have to feed them the corpse and knock them out during the phase of where they are still undergoing their buff. If you inflict too much torpor, then they will simply just torpor run, and you don't want that. Okay, so I feel confident we can give him a good shot in the face. You know what, we might actually... I'm going to shoot him once, I'm just going to feed him the corpse afterwards. Let's see how much torpor this inflicted. We'll do like 2 more shots here, and then we'll knock this birdie out. And one in the dome. That's probably a lot of torpor, to be honest. That may have been too much. Ooh, that was probably too much. That was a lot of torpor. Yeah, he's torpor running, so we need to just kind of wait for a second. I'm pretty sure he's not attacking me anymore, so that's because I shot him in the face and inflicted way more. He's not eating, though. You can also use your person, like if you can't find a creature nearby, the simplest way is just to build a sleeping bag, and you can sacrifice yourself as the corpse. Tips involving the, let's see, quick bar. The ones where you hold Q to access inventory seems unintuitive. Do you mean like this here, like where you access the toggle run, or where you access this here, or like your creature's inventory? Is that what you're referring to? I'm just covering a lot of tips that I've covered in my shorts. I've been asked to make them kind of in a long format, so I figured doing it live would be great because I could actually answer any questions anybody has. But I'm not following any specific format. Anything and everything is open. So yeah, if I'm able to get a little bit more clarity about what you want to see with the quick bar. You did say Q, so I'm assuming you're on computer and I'm on console because I'm a peasant. But yeah, like your toolbar at the broom. Oh, at the bottom. Okay. Oh, how you access your secondary hotbar. Yeah, it's not. There's just no intuitive way. It's not very great. I actually don't even use my secondary hotbar in ASA because I don't like how it works. Are you done? Are you done running from me? Oh, actually, I just punched him in the face. Punching inflicts more torpor. You ding dong. Let's see, how's he doing? 38-30. It's gonna take a long time for this guy. All right, let's see. I might have to just spawn in a new RG, to be honest. I kind of went a little crazy with that one. Let's spawn him in. Level 20. You know what? You know what? We're going to have him eat this corpse. We can knock this guy out in like 2 shots. Eat the corpse. He's got the buff. He's going to go to sleep here in like 2 seconds. Hit him one more time. He's going to run away. As long as he gets knocked out. Okay, he's knocked out. Knocked out during the buff. Ideally, his food meter should be halfway dropped already. It is not. Okay, so yeah, apparently it does not work at ASA. I got it to work twice, but they must have fixed it, so anybody who's watching that trick no longer works in ASA. It does just work in ASC, because if you knock them out during that buff, it used to starve tame them. I could have sworn we did have the secondary bar. It's just like this really weird way of doing it. I honestly don't even remember. Let's see. Yeah, I honestly don't remember. I could have sworn that there was an option to set it. I could be crazy. I honestly do so much testing that I forget half the stuff that I test. So you very well could be right. If that's the case, then I definitely can't help you. Because if I can't even pull it up, then we might have an issue. I just... If it was my... If I was to customize these things, I don't know if you've ever played Grounded. I also cover Grounded on the channel. They have a radial wheel that pops up when you're using your options that allows you to cycle mutations, cycle emotes, cycle loadouts, camera modes. It's all done through a wheel. And I know some people hate the wheel, but I absolutely love radial wheels because you can quickly navigate from one option to the next. And I wish we had something like that in ARX. We had more freedom and flexibility to maybe swap armor on the fly or swap between weapons that was not just on your hotbar. But yeah, this tip did not work, so now we know. ASA, it is no longer functioning. That is good to know. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else we've got here. I've covered quite a few of the tips. Honestly, I might just go look at my shorts and see if there's anything I haven't covered yet. Unless anybody else has anything. Well, actually, I think somebody did bring up breeding and mutations. I think that was one question I had on the comments leading up to the stream. Was just some comments about breeding and being complicated. And the short answer is yeah, breeding is complicated in Ark. It does work well in grounded. Yeah, it is far more common on console. You're definitely right. I guess on PC, but all the extra hotkeys or even like your mouse with extra buttons. So the radio wheel may not be as nice on PC since you have a lot of keys to choose from. Let's see. I'm gonna take a quick peek at my shorts here and see if there's anything that stands out that I feel we should or need to cover. I know there's quite a few of them that I was told wanted to be demonstrated live. Let's see. I was asked how to use a fish basket. Fish baskets are pretty easy. We can demonstrate that. Let's see what else. Oh, and then I've demonstrated this before. So I don't really want to demonstrate. I guess we could demonstrate this since breeding was a question. Let's spawn in some Megalania. Let's go to Megalania. We'll get a breeding pair of Megalania. My breeding settings should be boosted here for single player, so we should be good. This is a male. Please don't move. Nope. For whatever reason, whenever you tell them not to move, they now move. It's kind of weird. It was ever since the 5.5 update. And then hopefully this is a female, and this is a male. Okay, well, we don't need you, buddy. Go to sleep. Yeah, you can eat him. And then would you stop moving? I just need you a female. Passive. We'll get, hopefully, a girl Megalania. Yay! Okay, so let's tell them not to move. Not to move. And passive. Okay. So now all we're going to do is we're going to set them to breed while we do some other stuff. And they should break an egg in, I think, about 4 minutes. Let me see. Oh, yeah, this will be quick. So we'll go through and talk about some other stuff while that happens. Let's see what else there was. Oh, torches. Torches are fantastic. A lot of people don't know this, and it's kind of weird, but let me demonstrate torches here. We're going to spawn in a torch first, and then we're going to summon everybody's favorite creature, the Troodon. Because torches are basically Troodon's nightmare. They're scared of you at that point. So let's put the torch on the hotbar here. And then we're going to summon a Troodon real quick. On the island, I encounter more Troodons than pretty much anywhere else. Not every map is as crazy as the island. But if you summon in a Troodon, he's big mad at you. He's probably going to attack me, to be honest. Now he's mad at me. Oh, I'm in creative. Hold on. I lied. Let me get out of creative. Okay, now I'm taking Torpor. But now we're going to pull out the torch and watch him run for his life. They will run away from you if you smack them with the torch. If I happen to pass out right now with this torch in my hand, keep the torch out, because if you do pass out and there's a group of Troodons nearby, as long as the torch is in your hand when you pass out, it will be on the ground. And as you can see, they go running. They're going to leave you alone. Maybe they may have changed that though. Oh, yeah, actually, I put away my torch. They may have actually changed that. The torch used to drop on the ground right next to you. Well, at this point, we might be big dead. This guy might eat us. But yeah, if you've got a torch, give a Troodon a good smack, and they will leave you alone. Let's go check on the... I'm learning all sorts of new stuff. They change a lot of stuff in the background, and you never know. We'll check on the Megalanias here and see if they have done their deed here and made us a baby Megalania. Oh, yeah, they're almost done. Oh, and speaking of which, we need a way to hatch this. So let's just spawn in some otters, as otters are the fastest and cheapest method to hatch eggs. We'll do otters. You never need an AC again, at least not early on, unless you're like a breeding farm, as otters do the deed. Oh, it's level 22. We want a level 150. Whoopsies. Okay, that's 2 of them. Let's see if that is enough otters to hatch the egg. The egg should be dropped. Oh, it's almost done. Give us your eggs, Megalania. 100% please. And there it is. Can I grab this? Alright. Now if we bring it over to the otters, they should go through and insulate this for us. I don't know how fast it's going to hatch. I'm hoping it's fast. And, oh, the other guy abandoned. Something, oh, it's the Troodon. Oh, I forgot about the Druidon. Whoops. Oh, I think they killed it. Good job, guys. Okay, come to your job now and fertilize this egg. Let's just spawn in some new ones here. So we might need a second one. I usually always have 3. And we might need one more. It's still too cold. And that should be good, or not. Still too cold. Dang, this egg needs some serious heat. And what on earth is going on here? Unless I need to set them to not follow me. Let me try that. That might work. Okay, don't follow. That's interesting. It's still not working. I have never had an egg take more than 3, and I've used a lot of eggs. Worst case, we'll just spawn in some standing torches. That's the next alternative method. Yeah, this thing does not want to hatch. All right, well, let's just, we'll do some ACs, actually. ACs are going to be faster. That way I don't have to go get wood. Wood is not fun. Air conditioner. There we are. Let's just grab some of these. As an ASC, you can take a torch out in your hand and equip one on your mount saddle for extra warmth. Mount doesn't seem to warm you. Instead, you need to equip the torch on your belt and your hand. Yeah, you do have to put it... I've actually had that question as well on how to use the torch. So if you want to, for example, that's a great question. Let me get these ACs placed down, and then I'll demonstrate that. Let's point them this direction. I guess it doesn't really matter. And that should be more than enough. I don't think we have a generator in this radius, though. Yeah, it's unpowered. Let's make a quick generator for this egg for the Megalania. And slap this down right here. And then we just need some gasoline to keep it going. I'll demonstrate the torch while we wait for this egg here. Let's see, what is the code for gasoline? I'm assuming it's just gasoline. Yes, it is. Okay. We'll get that started up, and this egg should be hatching, I'm guessing. Yeah, at a dreadfully slow pace. Okay. Well, I'm not going to exit out and change our settings. Long story short, if you are looking for tributes, like the Megalania, for example, I think it is actually just with the Megalania, they are extremely hard to find on the island. So the devs actually made it to where every single baby Megalania will have Megalania toxin in its inventory. So if you're on a map like the island and you can't find them and you don't want to hunt them down, just get a breeding pair, even if they are low level, bring them back to your base and breed them, and every single baby will have 2 in their inventory. Alternatively, if they're wild, if you knock them out, you can pull 2 toxin out of their inventory, let them wake back up, and then knock them out again, and then it's actually going to give you another 2, and you can completely do this over and over until you have as many as you need. So those are 2 great ways to farm Megalania toxin. Now when it comes to the torch, yeah, so let's go through and craft a second torch here. Let's do a second torch here. So, and then we'll leave creative. Okay. So with the torch, typically, you would just pull out, if we are looking at our, well, you said it doesn't work with the mount. Let's spawn in a mount too. Let's spawn in the trike. Let's do that. I actually haven't tested this, so we will test this live with all 3 of the ways to stay warm. And we'll go to the trike here. Perfect, and we've got the saddle on the trike. And there is that. And then let's make sure the trike does not... Oh, I lied. We need a 3rd torch. And there is the 3rd torch. Okay, so here's the 3rd torch. So now we can see that our current cold resist and heat resist while naked is 44, and that's just due to the fact that we have 20 fortitude. Can you get Megalania toxin in drops? I have never seen an alpha tribute in a drop, so I don't believe you can. So again, we're at 44 for this. So if you grab the torch, you'll notice you can pull the torch to their saddle. It is now on their saddle and equipped it. You can see it up there, so it's a lot brighter. If we open our player's inventory, we're currently at 44. If we get closer, it still does not keep you warmer. See, yes, you're 100% correct. That does not work. Now, if we pull out 1 torch in our inventory on our person, we're at 44. If we pull this out, I don't think we can actually see our inventory with our torch out, so that's kind of hard to judge. Yeah. Oh, actually, it was. You could see if we look for a brief minute while it's out. If we quickly look at our inventory, you could see that it was at 97 or 98, and our heat resist dropped. So the torch did actually apply some. Now, if you want to put one on your belt, just click the right menu option and put on belt for anybody who's unaware. And when we do that, we're at 101 and 17. Now, if we pull this out, we should ideally be doubling up. You can see 154. So if you're ever in a cold area, yeah, you're 100% right. You would wear something like hide armor or fur armor, put one torch on your belt, and have one you're carrying around. I don't quite know where he's got this on his belt. That's kind of weird and awkward. I think it's on the front. But yeah, you can double up on the torch warmth. That is for sure. That is a great call out. Really good point, and thanks for bringing that up. But yes, the creatures no longer provide any warmth when it's on their saddle. On console, left trigger will automatically put it towards the belt. Let's try this. Left trigger. Oh, would you look at that? I was unaware of that. And so what if I want to take it back off? You sure can. That is a handy tip. I did not know that. I will include that in the final video. That is a super handy tip. Thanks for that. All right, now let's see what else we got here in the base to test out. If there's anything else in here, if not, we will go back to the shorts. Oh, you know what? We have this canteen. Let's test this back out. This is the one I actually filled up myself. We're not in creative, so we have determined that if you... Is my water's not quite empty. Okay, so we are losing some water here. So typically a canteen has 3 water charges. So I've used 1. I've used 2. So yeah, if it is chilled, not only does it provide you with the extra resistance, but it also lasts significantly longer instead of just the 3 drinks. Alright, well that is super handy. Also, you can see here, our cold resist is now negative 151 and 271 with no clothes on. So it makes us far colder, but we can resist far more heat by simply just drinking from this canteen. You do have to be thirsty in order for it to actually work, and I don't think we are thirsty because we have the buff. So our water is lasting far, far longer. Our buffs should fade in just a second, so we'll actually check just how much insulation you get from that. That should be gone here in just a few seconds. We're actually cold. We're freezing because of how cold we are. That's wild. Okay, so now it's not letting me use it anymore, so that's kind of odd. And let me use it twice. Let's see, spoil timer 6. Yeah, that makes sense since they balanced. I agree with that because they added the feature for your belt that they balanced it with the settles. It is nice though. Now the one thing I noticed that I have run into issues with the Troodons, you used to be able just to hold up a torch and it scared them. It seemed like though he wasn't intimidated by my torch and I had to smack him with it. So I'm guessing that maybe on your creature the torch also might have scared away the creatures. But now it does not work against the Troodons. You have to actually smack them with it for it to actually work. Is this guy... As you can see, this guy's got 40. I think we've been streaming for, what, just over an hour, and we've got half a stack of paste already, so it is pretty handy, especially if we had a gacha, we could double up here. Now, let's see if there's anything else. Oh, the spyglass. Let's talk about the spyglass. Can I get a show of hands in the chat? Or a, yep, that's me, if you've ever dismounted your creature on accident and got stuck in the sky. I will give a double hands up because I have done that countless times. One already has been in the stream. I'm going to show you just how to fix that. Let's take our PT here. And we will fly this guy out. Now, this trick does still work. I've been told it doesn't. It does still work. However, there is a limit on its range. So typically, if you were to whistle at a creature, let's get him up here. That might be too high. Okay, so we're going to just stay here, because one, I don't want him to follow me. I want him to stay floating in the air. No. Nope. Let's see if I can get him higher up in the air here. And we'll leave him there. Pretending that we just fell off. Oh no, our PT is stuck up there, and we are big dead. Okay, so usually if you whistle at them, they will not come down. You can't get to them. If you use the spyglass, however... Let me get in a spot that's not so awkward for the camera angle so you guys are not looking at my dude's butt. Okay, you might still be looking at his butt. If you can see him, If you whistle all, it doesn't work. If you whistle one, it won't work. And the reason being is typically you have to be within 20 foundations or 20 wall lengths in order for this to work. With the spyglass, it used to work really far away and now will only work up to 40 walls in total. This might be a little closer. That might be enough. Let's see if we can fall down here. But it's the same idea as if you're sending like Dimorphodons to attack something. You want to go through, look at them. The whistle all command hardly ever works for me. If you do the whistle one command though, and you're close enough, they will actually come down to you. It is kind of hard to judge how far away it is because it has to be within 40 total walls. If it's higher than 40 walls, it will not work. So I'm just trying to give you perspective of how far 40 away is. Let's go down a little bit more. Oh, actually, let's fly over here and see if this is enough because this is slightly elevated. I want to get it to a spot where the whistle doesn't work, but I want to get the spyglass to work. I think that might be too close, but let me see. I don't think he's coming down. He's not. So now let's go here, and we'll aim at our fellow here. Whoops. Come on, bud. And if we whistle. There we go, following. So with the spyglass, you can call them to you. Whistle all never works. It always has to be whistle one. But as you can see, he will now come down to you. It does not work, so if you drop him off and you're at the top of the world border trying to tame a Quetz, for example, you're SOL until you got another flyer. But if you fall off early on and they're within 40 total wall height, it's kind of hard to gauge. Hopefully that gave you a little bit of perspective. You can call them down with the spyglass. So it is a little situational, but it can be helpful early on if you don't have any other flyers. All right, we will leave this guy here. Let's see. I'm trying to think of what else we could do. Let's check. I think that's everything we had here on the base. Let me double check here. Oh, what do I have in here? Is anything important? Oh, this was me talking about what I said earlier. You can put honey actually on your fishing rod to extend the life of it. You can do the same thing with leech blood as well. Well, that reminded me, we could use the fish basket. We could demonstrate fish basket tips. Yeah, let's go through and do that. We'll talk about the fish basket. So let's put away our spyglass and craft us some fish baskets. Fish baskets can be used to tame a variety of different creatures, some of which can actually be accessed, their inventory. Others, they cannot be accessed, but they can be used as like a defense in your base or just to look cool. Do tamed Microraptors on your shoulder prevent you from getting dismount stunned from wild Microraptors? I believe that was tested in ASC, and that did not work, but that is a great question. So, oh, there's that Perlovia. Let's go over here. Let's set the time to day. That way you guys can see better. All right, let's test this out then. A Microraptor. So we are going to first spawn in a trike, so we have a creature to actually ride. And then let's add the trike here, trike settle. And there's that. Now we're going to summon a Microraptor. I'm assuming their spawn code is Microraptor. I don't know though. Let's find out. Microraptor. And okay, now we've got one. So first of all, let them just set up here. And I'm going to, I don't think they have any unique behaviors that we need to turn on. What is this? They do not. Okay. Let's see. So now let's go through and spawn in a wild one. We're going to spawn in a wild creature. Another one. Now we're going to get up on here, and it's on our shoulder. So now let's see. Where'd that guy go? Did he just run off? Let's spawn in one more, because I don't see where he went. Okay, there he is. So let's see if we're on the creature. See if we can get him to aggro to us. And see if this actually prevents them from knocking us off. I feel like whenever I get dismounted by a Microraptor, like 9 out of 10 times, I'm on a flying mount. But we'll find out. So I'm on a trike now. Definitely does not work. I got hecka dismounted. So false, that does not work. Now what does work and should work is the cat. The cat in ASE should prevent that. And I'm almost positive the Sinnoh and ASE, or I think I just said ASE, whoops. The cat and ASA prevent that from happening. We'll summon a cat. But the Sinnoh and ASE should also do the same thing. Let's do this here. There is a kitty cat. Let's yeet this guy off my shoulder. And let's grab this guy. Now this should happen. I don't know if we need to change the whistle for the cat. Let's see here. Oh, also, let's not be in creative mode when we do this. Whoops. Alright, now let's see if we can get this guy to not dismount us. You said, I don't know if you can use a shield while mounted, but I heard you can use a shield to prevent getting grappled from a Capro. Yeah, I actually demonstrated that earlier in the stream, but I will gladly grab a shield and demonstrate that again. You can definitely use a shield to block the grab from a Capro. You can 100% do that. I've never tried it while mounted. I've only tried it when walking around, but you can definitely use the shield to prevent the Capra from grabbing you. I don't know why this I don't think the Microraptor's interested. So you can see we have the cat, and the Microraptor wants absolutely nothing to do with us. Our cat is doing this little animation. If you pay attention to the cat, it will make little weird sounds, and it's basically scaring the raptor away. So if you're in ASA, this is the best way to, you see that roar right there? We see what the cat's doing? That's the best way to deal with Microraptors in ASA is going to be with the cat. They will not stun you if you've got a kitty cat on your shoulder. They also scare away seagulls and pegos too, so the only problem is taming a cat is not exactly an easy thing to do early on, so yeah, we'll leave our kitty cat here, we'll leave our trike here, leave all these guys here. I was going to show the fish baskets, but let's show the shield first, because I think that's more interesting, and we'll cycle back to the fish baskets. What is my current favorite map in ASA? Ooh, that's a good question. I could tell you that I was very mad with Ragnarok when it first came out, because I couldn't play in single player for 2 weeks. That really made me upset. I missed out on a lot of guides because of that, an opportunity for like growth with new people on the channel. So I actually rented a server from Nitrado to play my Tame Everything challenge. So I was pretty upset with that. But other than that, I really do like Rag. For PvP, though, 100% is the island. I just like the island more. Let's go over here for the Capro. I also really like Extinction. So let's do this first without... First, let's not be in creative mode. And then summon the Capro while not mounted. And then we'll do it while mounted. So Capro... I think I need to put his full name, Capro Suchus. That's right, I put just Capro. Let's go Capro Suchus. Okay, so I'm not in a creative mode. I'm just walking. He's coming at me. Hold up a shield. Pay attention. Let's put this away. Pay attention to the shield. Watch the shield animation and the wood. Do you see how it hits? And then if you check the durability, it's actually lost durability. He's coming back at me. Hold up the shield. He cannot grab you when you have a shield. The shield will eventually break. Ow, that hurt. So we're gonna run. I'm kind of heavy, I think. Oh, he grabbed me. I put the shield down. Let's not die to this fella here. Now let's test it while we are mounted to see if it works. Capros are pretty fast though, so once you use the shield, I would get the heck out of there. So let's see. Now we're not in. Let's summon. Let's see. What should we summon? What's something small? It'd be easy to tell. Let's just summon maybe a dire wolf, because that would be easy to see with the shield, and you could use weapons while mounted on the dire wolf. Perfect. Now let's leave creative mode. Hopefully I'm not too heavy, otherwise the wolf can't move. Get rid of these foundations here. And there is that. Okay. Now let's get on this guy. We're going to... Can I pull out? Oh, interesting. I can't use... You can't use the shield on your hotbar, so the shield by default is not out. So you cannot use the shield while mounted, because if you use a weapon, for example, the weapon's on your hotbar and you can pull it out. But because you can't put the shield on your hotbar, you can't pull the shield out. Because you'll notice as soon as I dismount, I pull the shield back out. So you cannot use the shield while mounted, meaning you cannot stop a Capro with the shield while mounted because you can't use the shield while mounted. I guess you can't use the shield retroactively to break the grapple. No, you cannot. You cannot do that. I don't know. Let me see if... I think I had some grenades. Let me go see if these will work. I think the grenades do work, though. The plant species grenades should break it retroactively, I believe. I don't remember. We're going to test that out. They're kind of expensive, but the grenades are freaking amazing. They will break you free from a lot of different things. Let's see. And they're right here. They are super heavy, though, so let's put half, maybe most of the stack away. Yeah, and we'll just carry these here with us. So let's go see if it will work retroactively. And maybe over here so the wolf doesn't help us out. There we go. Let's leave creative mode. And then we'll summon in the Capro. Oops, Capro Suchas. All right, now let's grab this. He's gonna grab, oh, he didn't grab me, okay. Now this does actually, if you use this before they get to you, it should also go through and stop their jump. Let's see if this works. As you can see, you can interrupt their actual grab if you throw this out. Well, let's make the wolf chill out. Now if he grabs me, let's see if it releases me once he grabs me. Okay, now if we throw this, he did release me. Yeah, so they will release you if you can use the fruit on them. That applies to a lot of creatures. So we'll throw this again. And he's going to leave me alone again. But they are quick, so I wouldn't recommend the fruit for the Capro, as Capros are pretty weak and pretty easy to deal with if you can just free yourself with the shield, and then you can go through it and use the, like just a pick to kill them. I would use the grenades for other more important creatures because they're super expensive. Well, and they're heavy, actually. So let's, I spawned in a Karkanos over here, and I demonstrated this earlier on the stream. I don't know who was all here during it, but the grenades will actually free you from the Karkanos grab and the Megalosaurus grab as well. I don't see the Karkanos. That's okay. Now, another interesting thing that these will do, I haven't tested this with bolas because I haven't really had a test partner in PvP to bola each other, but let's go through and use the PT as an example. So if we build a large bear trap, and we will place this here, and then place the large bear trap right here. And then if we get on the PT, well, let's leave creative mode again, and eat these bear traps out. This should arm in just a second here. There we are. Now if we use the PT, do I need the trike or the? It might be too small. Yeah, it's too small. If I equip some, that's a good question. I don't know. Let's go try that. Let's just force tame this guy real quick. We'll force tame him. And now if you ride a creature over a large bear trap, so obviously this would only apply to PvP unless you use it on your own, he's going to be stuck in this trap. But if you throw the grenade out, and then I get him to follow me, he should, yeah, you notice he's free from the trap. Plant species Z grenades will free your creatures from the traps. So, that is one of my, oh, here's the Megalosaurus over here. He's sleeping. So if he would pick me up, this is far more prevalent in ASC. As ASA, they just received the change to where they primarily actually will use their primary attack and not constantly grab everything. So this is definitely more helpful in ASC than ASA. But if they pick you up and grab you, you can just use the fruit, and the fruit will actually force them to drop you. I don't know if I can get him to grab me. We'll try. Earlier, he would not do it. He would just go for the primary attack. I don't think he's going to do it. We'll try. Hey, no, everybody, chill out. Don't attack him, please. Let's see if he'll get me. I'm guessing it's just primary, though. Yeah, I don't think so. Alright, he's going to kill me, so. I don't think it works in ASA anymore because his primary attack is going to be what he default uses. And honestly, it's for the better. It makes them so much more stronger than what they were before. Now, you wanted to test out against the Capra while mounted with a sword. So I don't know where the wolf went. Let's just summon the wolf in again and test this out. Is that a Purlovia? I think that's a Purlovia. So if you use this on the Purlovia right before they get to you, it should actually interrupt their stun. I don't know if I can do it. I'm too close. This one seems glitched. Hello? Odd. Okay. Well, I don't know what happened there. He wasn't... I think that was a tamed Purlovia. So let's just summon in the Direwolf. We have left creative mode. So let's go this. And then let's pull out a sword. Or actually, we need the sword first, don't we? And we'll spawn in the sword and see if it works while mounted. Maybe it lets us pull out the shield. That's a great call. I didn't think about that. And then let's put the sword on our hotbar. I really like Rags early game because usually it's such a struggle. I do like the struggle early game, but having a sword to carve up a bunch of turtles for keratin was a lot of fun, I'm not gonna lie. That was fun. So let's see, let's get the Capro here. Now if I can pull out my sword, is my shield out? I don't think it worked. Oh, my shield doesn't seem equipped. He let me go. Let's get on the wolf again. Okay. I'm holding this up. I don't know where the Capro is at, to be honest. Okay, he's right there. Okay, he's not, he's right there. Don't know if we're blocking anything. You can definitely use the shield now. Okay, let me see if I can reposition. The Capro's over here. Now Bison's gonna definitely... Oh yeah, the Capro's big dead. Let's summon on a new one. Okay, let me see if this works. Okay, the shield does not work when you're mounted. It does not provide the same effect as it does when you're on the ground here. So that's a great question, and it seems like it did not work. Alright, I think that was everything for testing over here. So with that being said, let's go use a fish basket. Now, what some common things would be leeches. So let's head over to the swamp biome. If you had a base and you could just lure... Oh, actually, you know what? There's a wyvern. Before we leave this trench, I'm distracted so very easily. Let me show you with the whip here real quick. I'm obviously in creative, but if you were to get picked by a creature in PvP, for example, or if you were just flying in PvE, maybe there's a wyvern following you closely nearby. It's not exactly ideal, but if you have a whip and you smack pretty much any flying creature in the dome, let me see if I can get pulling with that. I don't know if you can you use the whip while... Let me put the shield away. Should let me use the whip now? Yeah. So if we can hit this wyvern in the face, you have to hit them in the head, and it will actually go through and stun the creature. At least it used to work in ASA. I don't know if it's going to work on this wyvern. It works on PTs and RGs for sure, and it will force them to drop you if you're in PvP. It may not work on the wyvern anymore. Okay, yeah, it does not work on the wyvern. But if you use it on PTs, it'll knock them out of the air and force them to drop you if you're in PvP. Now, let's go to the swamp. I think, where is the closest swamp? We will go... let's go to the swamp by the castle up here, because I know for sure there's leeches up here. Should be... Hold on, let me get my bearings. Let me figure out where the heck I am. Where is Viking Bay? And... Oh, Viking Bay is up here. Okay. I'm all sorts of lost. Here we are. Okay, so... Let's not die to anything. Let's see if we can find a somewhat safe place to go to. Right here. It's perfect. I don't know about safe. We're in a swamp, but let's throw down some fish baskets here. There we go. That's probably plenty. And then let's leave, and hopefully we don't die, because that's the swamp. It's very possible we die ASAP. I see a piranha. Yeah, there's a piranha. Oh, there's a leech. We want the leech. Yeah. Gross. Leeches are coming. Now this is armed, so we're going to wait till the leech is closer, because they should aggro to us. We capture the piranha, and then you can see we can also capture a leech. So we can go here, capture a leech, and, oh, capture a leech. Okay, that leech stuck to me. But, yeah, so you can capture leeches. Now, leeches are kind of weird, so let's fly somewhere that is not in the swamp so we don't die. And I can demonstrate this to you. You can also do this with all the fish, the piranhas, saber-toothed coal ants. Those are all common knowledge, but you can do it with leeches. You could also do it with trilobites and the lampreys on Aberration. The most effective one, or the best one to do this with, is trilobites, hands down, as you can actually use them for storage. So let's leave creative here. And then if we just go through and use the leech, you can release them. You can release them here on the ground. Now the thing with leeches is once you have tamed the leech, you cannot access its inventory. You cannot do anything with this leech. It's kind of just there. I think we should build it. If we build a campfire too, that should also remove the leech on my back. I don't know if the leeches can be aggressive, so let's spawn in something and see if this leech attacks for us. I would assume because it's ours, it should. It should at least defend your base. But let's burn this guy here real quick because this leech is nasty. Let's put in the wood here. Burn the leech off my body. Oh wait, I think I'm in creative, so I can't take fire damage. Okay, the leech got kapoofed. Let's see. What if you use a grappling hook on a flying mount that picked you to release yourself? Yeah, the grappling hook will do the same thing as the whip. You can use the grapple to force an RG or another creature to release you. You can use it either on the creature itself or elsewhere. And then, yeah, the whip will do the same thing as well. The whip also can dismount or disarm players in PvP as a chance to disarm them as well. So let's summon... Is there something that we can kill or summon? Let's summon the Capro. Just see if the leech will attack the Capro. Or does it follow commands? Will it follow? It does follow commands. Okay. Let's maybe summon in a dodo. Something that won't kill the leech in like one hit. And I'm curious to see if it will attach itself to the dodo. Okay, let's see. Attack the dodo. Oh, the leech is following the dodo. That is a terrifying sight. I would not want to be that dodo. Look at this disgusting thing go. I think it's going to get him. Now the question is, does it just attack him, or will it attach itself to him? I think it's just going to attack, but that is still pretty cool. So leeches can be used as like a super nasty defense. If you got like a water moat around your base, you could hide them in the water, or even hide them in the grass nearby. And if you're in PvP, you might be able to get something to latch onto players. That would be pretty... If I had a leech latch onto me during the middle of a raid, I would be pretty freaked out, I'm not going to lie. So yeah, the leech can be aggressive. They don't do much, but they do work. Oh, they're going to fight. Now you can also... So the leeches you can release on land or in the water. I tried this on the... I'm going to say this wrong. Eurypterids or the sea scorpions, but it does not work. Now you can also do this with piranhas. Now piranhas have a weight capacity of 15. Saber-toothed salmon and the colons also have a small weight capacity. The size of the fish does not matter. Their weight is pretty much always the same based upon what I've tested so far. Trilobites have a weight capacity of 150, which is massive. So if you want to store some goods in the trilobite, you can do that. That's pretty much the only reason to tame them, though, is either just for looks or to store stuff in their inventory. Let's see what else I've got. I think I've covered everything so far. I'm going to look at the shorts now. Oh, actually, you know what we could do? I don't have... This one's kind of hard to test because the breeding settings are not right, so I may not be able to test this one. Let's see. Attack... Oh, to tell it to use a specific ability? Yeah, that would be pretty cool. So I can't actually demonstrate this to you because my breeding settings are screwed up, and they're not ideal. But if you are to place a cooking pot in... Well, actually, you know what? Let me see if I could spawn item in. Let me just Google this real quick, because if I could demonstrate this, it'd be really cool. Let me see if I could spawn in a Hesperornis egg. Hesperornis egg, let me see. I don't want the golden one. I want the basic Hesperornis egg. I don't know if there's going to be a command for that. Everything comes up. Okay, we might be able to do this. Let's try this out. We do not want the golden egg. We want the normal Hesperornis egg. GFI, and then it's going to be egg underscore Hesperornis. Spelling is critical here. And they said spelling wouldn't be important when you get older. Look at me having to learn to spell things on the fly. Okay, let's see if this works. It should be... Did it work? Oh, it worked. Let's go. Okay, so what I wanted to demonstrate to you was... A lot of people probably already know that dung beetles can create oil passively in their inventory after they've accumulated fertilizer, which they can produce by picking up other creatures' poop. But Hesperornis can also go through and create oil for you with their eggs. Now, Hesperornis are not exactly an easy creature to tame, but their level does not matter. You just need a mating pair, and then you're going to go through and toss in some stuff here, light the fire, and toss in the egg. And now, you'll notice the egg immediately turned into 12 oil. The Hesperornis egg will immediately cook and turn into 12 oil when placed in a cooking pot. This is going to produce oil at about the same rate as what a dung beetle can in its inventory passively. Thanks for stopping in, Faison. I do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Yeah, I will probably chop it up so there's less in between talking, but I'm sure this will still be a pretty long video. Thank you so much, and have a good day. So yeah, that's a great way to farm oil if you want a reason to tame the little ducks. Now, next up, let's talk about spoiled meat. Let's see. Let's kill this trike here. And then let's just kill him here real quick. And this should be enough. We'll take this guy out. Do we still have a chainsaw on us? We do not have a chainsaw. Chainsaw is going to be the best way to get meat and hide, so let's just do that here real quick. And I got rid of the gasoline, so we will also need to spawn in some gasoline here real quick. And then we will use gasoline. Let's see, gasoline. And we'll just do 10. Perfect. So now we're going to use the chainsaw here to get us a good stack of meat. And we're going to let this meat expire here real quickly. I came in life-saving time. Yeah, what's going on? What you need help with? Okay, so while we do that, let's build... Oh, you need answers. I hope I have answers. I am a man of knowledge, but if I don't have an answer, we can test it out and learn together. Read your chat super fast. I've read everything you've posted so far in like 5 seconds. I think I got you. We good. Okay, so we're going to build this, and now we need a toilet. So, toilet. And here we are. Build a fancy little toilet. I do believe, don't you need a, do you need to irrigate toilets anymore? I don't remember if you do. I don't remember if you need to irrigate them. Let me check. Let's see here. I don't remember. Let's try this out. We might have to. Okay, so... Okay, we might be okay. So let's go through and get some meat. So... If you have a toilet and you want to spoil your meat right away, typically a lot of people know the simplest way to do that is to go here and hit split stack and then split all. And when you do that, you will split all of them into separate little categories. Now, alternatively, the other thing you can do is if you can have up to 100 stacks of meat. So let's say you do a meat run, for example, and you want to quickly get a bunch of spoiled meat. All you need to do is go to your toilet, go to your player, take a nasty little poo on the toilet. One, you feel refreshed, which means you actually get an experience buff after you took a nice little, poop. You get a 33% experience buff for taking a dookie. So yeah, but then you flush the toilet. And when you flush it, you get you get a fertilizer, I'm sorry, and you also get 31 spoiled meat. It will make every stack of meat in the toilet expire, and it will also give you fertilizer. So toilets are not just cosmetically. They'll give you fertilizer and spoiled meat and an experience buff. All right, so let's see here. Huge confusion of Club Arc. Don't tell to watch on YouTube. Okay. I purchased a Santa Smithy skin from Club Arc, and I don't see it in my inventory or cosmetics nowhere. I downloaded event mods and spawned them in through the command. But how do I get it from Club Arc? Let's see, Skins Bro. Okay, so I personally do not play Club Arc, but here's what I'd recommend if you haven't already. Open up your inventory, then go to Cosmetics. Then in your Cosmetics, you will see folders on the right-hand side. Ideally, Club Arc should have one over here, and you should be able to access that skin through that folder. So basically click on it, and then your skin should be available for you here. And that's how you would go through and use your skin. Have you tried accessing those folders under your cosmetic tab? Yeah, checking the obelisk is also a great call because it does go through and send you back with that information. You went to the obelisk and there's nothing there. That is odd. That's ideally, yeah, if they weren't in your cosmetics, check your cosmetics though, because it's a cosmetic and not an actual item. I would check your cosmetics and see if they're here. Ideally though, they should go to the obelisk so you could transfer them between Club Arc and the worlds. There's not a tab there. That is really odd. I honestly don't know. I have not played a lot of Club Arc. That is a great question. I will have to follow up with you on that one. I don't actually know the answer to that. I think, yeah, so yeah, I don't play Club Arc. I'll have to follow up with you on that. I will look into that once the stream is over and get back to here either today or tomorrow. I don't know, though, for that one. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, Wyvern Milk is super handy. Let's talk about Wyvern Milk. Let's see here if I can remember what is the spawn code for Wyvern Milk. Let's go to, see what I can find here. GFI Wyvern Milk, and if I could find the exact code. Oh, it's just Wyvern Milk. Okay. Let's see. We'll go here. And Wyvern Milk. Wyvern Milk is super handy and not just for feeding your babies. Alright, so now we're going to head over to the Highlands as I know that there is a Giga there. And I'm going to show you something pretty cool with Wyvern Milk. I know it's primarily used to raise the baby wyverns. Now Bison Milk does the same thing. And I'm curious if Bison Milk has this same buff that Wyvern Milk does. If it does, Bison Milk is it is really good then. That is really, really good. So where is that Giga? Let's find the Giga that was just chilling over here on this edge. And I'm going to demonstrate. There he is. So we're going to go over here. And let's summon in a Thyla, as Thylas are typically what I would use to kill a Giga. Oh, that was not, I want to spell the full name. I guess that is not Thyla. It's going to be Thylacoleo, I believe, or Coleo. That should be right. Yes, there's our kitty. All right, and then let's get him a saddle here real quick. Now, equip that, and we're going to put... I don't think it should eat the milk. Let me just double check. Okay, it won't eat the milk even though its food is dropped. Perfect. So now we're going to leave creative mode. And now, typically, when you go through and you fight a Giga, when the Giga attacks your creature, it will apply a bleed effect. And that bleed effect is the reason that wild Gigas are such a pain to deal with. It is really, really challenging to deal with them. So let's go through and throw this stuff out. This Giga is going to bite us, and we're going to bleed. We're bleeding. Now we're going to use this milk. Our bleed has now been cured. And if we take subsequent attacks, we're no longer taking the bleed. You can see there's a cooldown on it. And you have insulating warmth. So for the next 110 seconds, our Thyla cannot take any bleed damage from this Giga. So now if we land our own personal hit, and we get our bleed effect in, we are now faster than this Giga. So if you want to take out a Giga for Gigahearts, unofficial, if you're able to get Wyvern Milk, you'll become faster because you will slow them down with their bleed, and your Wyvern Milk will make your Thyla immune to the attack. Now, something to note, the buff only lasts, I believe it's 100 seconds. It was recently nerfed. Oh, we're about to get nipped in the butt. We are not faster. And the cooldown is 3 minutes. So after the buff wears off, you will be vulnerable to taking more damage for the next 3 minutes. But Wyvern Milk does have other properties as well, so let's go through and demonstrate that. We should be free from the Giga. That was a very scary Giga. So let's head up to... Let's spawn in a Griffin, as they're pretty fast. We can go over to the Wyvern Trench. There we are. And we'll have our Thyla just chill out here. We don't need this. And let's take the Griffin to the trench. Oh, we do need some more milk, though. We need some more Wyvern Milk. We'll put some milk here in our Griffin's inventory, and he should not eat it either. Alright, now let's head on over to the Wyverns here, and ideally it used to actually go through and stop the burning effect from fire wyverns, and that same effect also worked in the dragon boss fight. I don't know if that still works, so we're gonna go test that out. But it does still work on the Giga, and I just tested that the other day, so let's go see. I am also curious though if this will work with bison milk. That would be interesting to know. Thank you for trying to figure out the cosmetics, guys. I appreciate that. Sadly, that is not my forte. I spend lots of time testing other stuff, but not Club Arc. Okay, let's see if this fire wyvern, oh, I almost died, can aggro onto me here. Come on, buddy. Come on down to me. Now he's going to use his attack, so we're burning. We're going to use the milk. We are still burning. So the milk does not work on the fire wyvern, it seems like. It seems like it just works with the bleed effect. Yeah, we're still taking burning damage. So it does not work on the wyverns anymore, but it does still work on the Giga. Alright, we're going to leave our Griffin here, and we are going to go fly away. Let's go see if I could find the spawn code for bison milk, so if we could test that same milk on the Giga. I've never used the bison milk before, so this will be a new learning experience for me as well. Let's see, bison milk arc. It's just called bison milk. Okay. Let's see here. Whoopsies, bison milk. Is it really just the same spawn code, but it's called bison instead of wyvern? That'd be interesting to know. I did not like that code. Okay. So it does say that's what it's called. That is not the proper code. Let's see, GFI. It says it's a primal item. Let me try this. I'm not sure if we could spawn this one in. So, and trying to breed for this might take a while. So I don't know if we can demonstrate this here live, but we will give it a shot. Let's see, primal item consumable. I usually don't have to type this in, but I'm gonna just test it out and see if it works. Let's see, consumable. There we are. And then underscore bison milk. I don't know if that works. It did not like it. Either I'm entering it incorrectly or this does not work. Yeah, we may not be able to spawn this one in. Try one more thing. If not, we'll see how long it takes a pair of breeding bison to actually spawn it in for us. Yeah, I don't think this is going to work for us, guys. So we're going to have to see if we can. We'll go see if we can get some bison and maybe see if they could produce us some milk. So let's just spawn in a. Let's go inside our house area over here. And we will spawn them in and see if we can get. Oh, that is tripping out. I am so sorry. That was. The game did not like that I flew that fast. Alright, so let's spawn in a bison. Hopefully get a male and a female right away. And that is a female. I actually haven't used the bison for breeding yet. I haven't done any breeding with them, so I'm not exactly sure how this milk works. Let's see. I'm assuming. Okay, does anybody know how the bison milk works or generates? I have not used it. Will it automatically passively create it and I can just pull it out of its inventory over time? Or does there need to be like a baby nearby? Do they need to be breeding? Does anybody know how that works? We're going to breed. I don't think this will do anything for us, but is only for imprints. Well, that's what it's typically for, but I'm curious to know if it will work similar to wyvern milk and actually give you the warmth buff, allowing you to be immune to the Giga bleed damage. I don't know if anybody's tested that before, and I can't seem to spawn it in. But I wanted to test it out to see if that actually works. But where do you typically get the milk? I haven't used the milk before. Is it in the bison's inventory? Or is it on the radial wheel? How do I acquire it in the first place? I probably should have looked that up earlier. I didn't even think about testing that. Let's see. Okay, yeah, let me see. I'm not seeing any way to fast track this. I'm going to Google it real quick. How do we get bison milk? How to get bison milk. Okay, so they produce the milk when bred. Okay, so then ideally we should have some milk coming up here soon. This is the male, so we definitely don't want his milk. We're going to stick to just the female, and hopefully that makes us some milk. While they do their deed, let's go through and it doesn't work in my knowledge, but I'm not 100% sure, so let's see. And naturally spawns in the female. Okay, yeah, it's this one they breed, so we'll just let these guys do their thing, and then we'll test it out. While we're doing that, let me see what else we got. Ooh, stegos. The milk produces after the birth. Okay, so they're doing their business. They shouldn't be following me. You two stay there. Yeah, okay, like a normal cow. Okay, cool. Well, then let's summon a stego out here, because we'll use the stego for our next test here. Do a stego here. All right, and we'll just leave him right there. And then we will spawn in a stego saddle as well. And slap this on our friend here. Oh, there we go. Now, let's, yeah, that should be good. We'll leave him there. And the milk should be produced by this bison now. Let's see. Gestating. Is there any milk in your inventory? Or is it in the baby's inventory? Oh, that's going to take a very... Why does that take so long? What on earth? Okay, well, maybe we're not testing that out today. My breeding settings are whack. Okay, so let's go demonstrate with the stego. So, a lot of people say that stegos are basically useless unless you play PvP, and that is an absolute myth. That is not true. So first and foremost, let's go over here. They are slow as molasses. I can't argue with that, but let me just demonstrate to you a couple of cool things that they can do. So first would be, let's summon in a couple of nasty creatures to contend with. And first is going to be the Purlovia. And we're going to get that guy. Ah, he's going to stun me. Okay, so now first, let's get out of creative mode. And that Purlovia should still be burrowed. Now, the reason the stego is helpful is you physically cannot be dismounted by anything in PvE while riding a stego. It is a new player's best friend. You can be stunned, but you cannot be dismounted. Purlovias cannot dismount you. Capros cannot grab you. Carcanos cannot grab you. Megalosaurus cannot grab you. Microraptors cannot stun you off your mount. None of them will do it. Stegos are virtually a giant tank, and you cannot be removed from them. So if you ever have a new player or a new friend that you want to play, and you want them to be safe, put them on a stego, and as long as the stego doesn't die, they should not die. We're going to summon in a Capro here. Yeah, they do have some primary resource gathering capabilities that are super helpful in their plate modes, and we'll talk about those right now too. But let's get here on the stego. While here, as you can see, with the Capro, oh, he's going for the little sheep. Poor little sheep. I just sent him to his death. Oh, look at the sheep. The Capro just snatched up that Ovis. That looked freaking hilarious. Alright, well, let's summon in a new one. Now, while we're on the stego, he's going to turn around and come for us. But you saw he went to go do the dash there. And he cannot grab us. We cannot be dismounted by the stego. Now, you probably are aware of this attack here, where you go through and latch into them on larger creatures. Well, let's eat this guy away. Well, let me find a larger creature. So, let's go over to this Diplo here. So it has an ability that allows it to stab its spike into another creature. This ability will go through it and drain the stego's stamina. Oh, I missed it here. But it will do damage based upon how much melee attack the other creature has. The more melee they have, the more damage it does. I might be getting headbutt. Come on. Let me stick this in. The Diplo may have been a bad example. But the Diplos actually can't even... They don't even deal damage to you. If you look down here, I'm not mounted. They do 0 damage for whatever reason. These poor guys, they can't damage you at all. They just give you little tickles. I think he's going to leave us alone, though. Okay. So, let me spawn in something larger, maybe? We can summon in a Bison. Bison. Well, actually, I haven't tried it with the Bison yet. Let's try out a Bison and see if a Bison can dismount off a Stego. That is something I have not tried yet, so let's learn together. How powerful is this Stego? Can he be dismounted and can he be heated? Nope, you can get stunned. You cannot be dismounted. So, yep, that is another creature that you cannot get dismounted from while on the Stego. That is super handy. We can get yeeted around, but we won't be dismounted. Now, while you are riding the Stego, you do have certain plate modes. As you can see here, as you shift between plates. Let me just take out this Bison and we'll demonstrate these plates. One of the plates is going to go through and make you do armor penetration, allowing you to penetrate through creatures with tough armor, like rock elementals, for example. One of them is going to be great for harvesting wood, and the other is great for berries and thatch. Let's just take this fella out. This is actually really exciting, the fact that there's finally something that counters the Bison, because these things are freaking lethal, I'm telling you. And he should die here in a second, hopefully. There we are. So now we should be able to see our plate modes. So on the very top of the screen, when I press in on PlayStation, it's the right trigger. You can see we are now in heavy plate mode. And then we are in sharpened plate mode. And now we're in the hardened plate mode. So the Stego has 3 different plate modes that they're able to cycle between, all of which have different effects that they're able to use. So let's head over here. So first, let's go through and start with the hardened mode. I think hardened's actually the first one. By default, you're in hardened mode. Yeah, so here's the hardened mode. So when you're in hardened mode, when you hit creatures, it will actually slow them down while you are in this mode. So let's just take, for example, this Phiomia. Ideally, once we hit it once, it should be able to outrun us. But while we're in this mode, when we hit them, you'll notice they run a lot slower. So let me just give him a good smack here. And he did not actually seem to be very slow. But they do take a slow. And this is also the best mode for harvesting wood. So you want to be in hardened mode when you're looking to gather a bunch of wood. You can get 59 wood from this tree, for example. And then when it comes to the heavy plate mode, which is going to be this one here. Maybe the heavy plate's is slow. Let's go try it on this beaver and see if this works, since that other one did not work. I may have confused the two. Let's see. Come here, Mr. Beaver. I want to hit you real quick. You can also see the icon on the top right indicating which mode you're on. Yeah, look how slow he's moving. So it's in this mode right here. When they're in the hardened plate mode, or sorry, the heavy plate mode, your basic attacks apply a slow to enemy creatures, meaning even this slow as molasses creature can outrun something. Look how slow the beaver's moving. Beavers are really fast. They can nearly outrun players with no movement speed, but this Stego is able to outpace them due to the slow that it actually applies with this. Now this mode is also great for harvesting thatch, so if we head over here to this tree, and hopefully we don't smack this Stego here. Now if we smack this, oops, I'm going to hit the Stego on the face, I feel like. I'm going to hit the wild Stego. We don't want that. Now let's go up to the tree. And as you can see, we broke down the tree, and essentially the roles reversed. Instead of giving us 50 plus wood and only 8 thatch, it gave us 50 plus thatch and only a little bit of wood. Now lastly is the sharpened plate mode, and this is the one that applies armor penetration. Hey dude, can you just leave us alone real quick? Okay, so let's go over to the Stego, and before we use the sharpened plate mode, let's just use the heavy plate mode. And we're going to look at how much damage we do using the heavy plate mode, and then we're going to switch to the sharpened plate mode to see how much of an impact the armor penetration actually has on creatures like a Stego. Are aberrant variants better than normal, or is it just for show? I believe they have more attack and less defense. Let me double check. So this is the standard attack. We do 69, and the Stego is slow. Now let's swap over to sharpened, and we do, I think it's still 69, so I don't think we did any more against this Stego. We did not, so maybe the armor pen no longer works. That's odd. That is very odd. So then at that point, I feel like it's almost always better if you're in a fight to be in heavy plate, as the heavy plate mode applies the debuff, and you will constantly have the edge, allowing you to outmaneuver the target. So I feel like based upon this testing, if you're in a fight with the Stego in a 1v1, you should always be in the heavy plate mode, as that's going to allow you to keep the slow buff constantly stacked, and not allow them to go through and do anything. This guy literally can't attack because of how slow he is. We are out of stam, but yeah. This is turning into Mythbusters. That's literally what I do. I see things online. I'm like, wait, that's not true. Or is that true? And I go test it. Because I don't like to, A, misinform anybody through my videos. Or B, be misinformed and then have something not work. Arcbusters. I would title this video Arcbusters for giggles, but I don't know if it would do as well. I like that, though. Maybe I'll come up with some sort of creative thumbnail and we'll title it Arcbusters, patent pending. Oh, also, speaking of which, the sharpen plate mode is the best for gathering berries. So let's go through and head over. Oh, let's get our stand back because we're absolutely slow. We are dreadfully slow. Let's drop every bit of thing we have on our inventory here and bump up our stam. So for those of you that said the Stegos are not great, I know maybe not you guys, but in general, for anyone who watches this, Stegos are very, very helpful. Now, using the standard attack, I think it's this. Whoops, let's use our attack here to get some berries. We got 6, 8, not very much. Let's flip over to the sharpen plate mode and see how many berries we get. And we almost quadrupled the amount of berries we get. So basically, if you want wood, use hardened plate mode. If you want to be in combat, use your heavy plate mode. Or if you want to go through and apply a slow, same thing, combat. This is also going to go through and give you thatch. And then use the sharpened plate mode if you want to go through and harvest berries. The armor penetration did not really seem to work on that Stego, so I'm just going to ixnay that. Also, in general, I think even against flyers, I don't believe you can be picked off a Stego in PvP. So overall, the Stego is just an absolute beast. The Kenshiro versus the Stego, my understanding is Kenshiros don't have a lot of abilities. They just deal an absurd amount of recoil damage. So let's check them out. Let's go Kenshiro. I don't believe you can even ride a Kenshiro either, right? I don't think you can even put a saddle on them. Yeah, I don't think you can saddle these guys up. So I think they just have their basic attacks, and that's pretty much it. So if you're dealing with a Giga, for example, yeah, 100% use the Kenshiro. Yeah, you can't ride these guys. So I think I've tamed one in my entire time of playing Ark. You can't ride them, but their recoil damage is absurd. You can enrage a Giga in seconds with Kenshiros because they deal absurd quantities of recoil damage. But you can't ride them, so they don't get extra saddle protection. You don't get anything. Yeah, you can't ride Perlovias either, you're right. So the only time these guys are useful is dealing recoil damage. Outside of that, the Stego is a beast. They are super slow, so you can put them on a Quetz, for example, or you can carry them with the Karkanos, or if you bring them to like the Hard Snow Cave, for example, with the Cryo Fridge, you can use that as well. But Stegos are pretty beefy. They're a fun tame. So if anybody new watches this video and you're not using a Stego and you don't want to die, get on a Stego. Oh, we actually never were able to demonstrate their ability where they stick their tail into creatures. It only works on large creatures, but basically it will drain your stamina or that creature's health until they die. So typically whichever one happens first. Now, let's see what else we got here. Let's see, we did the whip already, we did the moss chops. Trying to see, ooh, the boomerang is a fun tool. Let's get the boomerang. The boomerang is fairly underutilized, but it's actually a pretty good tool for knocking creatures out. Yeah, the Giga will kill you if its health gets too low in rage. That is true. But like if you're in PvP, for example, if you throw out a Kenshiro against a enemy player's Giga, if the Giga hits that Kenshiro, it will drain their health insanely fast because of the amount of recoil damage that it does. So they're great as a defensive tool. Yeah, I would not be on the Giga trying to hit a Kenshiro. You'll probably get killed. I 100% agree with that. Okay, so the easiest way to do this, let's go find something to knock out first. Actually, could we do the Phiomia? Yeah, let's use the Phiomia. So we're going to leave creative mode. So this is a level, what level is this guy? 145. So this would take quite a few tranks. So with the boomerang, oh, hold on. Let's tell the Kenshiro to chill out. I don't want any help with this. There we are. Now we're going to use the boomerang. Now typically with the boomerang, the mistake that a lot of people often make when they use it is they're going to take the boomerang and they're going to throw it up and out like this. Don't do that. Aim at the ground and get above it, and it'll come right back to you because it hits the ground. The moment it hits the ground, it will immediately return back to you, allowing you to get more. If you throw it vertically into the air, it will take longer for the boomerang to actually return to you. Now, the boomerang is not always ideal, as sometimes it can kill the creature, as it does inflict a lot of damage in comparison to the Torpor. But as you see, we knocked out that level 145 Phiomia prior to it ever being released from Lobola, as long as you aim down. If you throw it in the air, for example, now you have to sit here and wait for it to come all the way back, making it far less effective for actually knocking creatures out. So always use it pointing down at the ground and not up and out, and you can make better use of the boomerang. Alright, let's see what else we got. Oh, the Morellatops. The Morellatops is absolutely amazing in Ark Survival Evolved. They got a huge TLC, and it's definitely worth talking about. So let's go build some crop plots right over here by the water. And let's slap them down right here, and we will spawn in a Morellatops. Let's do a couple of crop. Oh, actually, that's 60. That's way too many. We don't need these. One, you can stack crop plots if you didn't already know that. In ASE, typically, you could only do that with large. In ASA, you can do that with as many as you want. There we are. Go over there. Go leave us alone. All right, so we've got some crop plots now. Now, typically, you would need to go through and irrigate these in order to keep them working. But in order to actually do that in ASE, if you have the Morellatops can automatically do it for you. Their TLC was massive. Let's see if I could figure out... Here we are. Oh, I did not use the right... I don't know what their summon code is. Give me just a second here. Let me Google this. Let's go Morellatops. GM summon Morellatops. Whoopsies. I'm not sure. Oh, it's saying Moschops, but I want the Morellatops. Is it just camel? It's going to be camel, isn't it? Oh, Camelosaurus. That is such an odd spawn code. Alright, let's go camel. Camelosaurus. There we are. And that should give us a Morellatops. Now with the Morellatops, let's go through and build our saddle here. And, okay. Now if you bring Morellatops to the water, they will now automatically fill up their water on their own. But let's also spawn in some canteens. So if you go through and you get a canteen, let's make, I don't know, like 20 or 30 of these things. Pretty expensive, but we're just going to make a bunch of canteens. You can do it with water jars too. They're just not as heavy, or they're a bit more heavy, sorry. And now we're going to fill up these water containers in the Morellatops' inventory.